Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Blue Otter Draft League for Season 3. I am so excited to be here. We're so excited to have you back. As always, I am When It Rains, formerly Noctisera, for anyone who used to watch New Name. With me, I have Becky Reed, my co-caster, who will be on cast with us tonight, coming back for another season. Missed him a bit last season, but we finally have the gang back together. Kaib is here as well, commissioner of the league. As well as our guests tonight, we have iEnders, Ender Fridge, and Crawl.
Yep.
Hello.
Hello.
And a new
Hey.
producer, we have Chippy running the show tonight. Wookie not going any further, but we have a great new producer, so everyone wish them a great happy thanks. And let's get right into it. Tonight's featured match is the Spuds versus the Spartans. Don't have a lot of stats to go off yet, but it should be one of the more interesting matchups. I think we're going to have a lot of fun on our hands tonight. So let's move right into our predictions. We're going to start off with Ruby. Going to see what everyone has to say. And it looks like I am the only believer. Crazy.
Well, you misunderstand about believing. I believe in a higher power. That higher power being goat chicken. All right. That is who I believe in. Otherwise, honestly, I feel like the Spartans roster is teetering on the edge of oblivion. So I don't necessarily know how long they're gonna last. That we were supposed to believe, but I'm not an optimist. I'm a realist in this case.
Well, it seems most people agree. I personally think, as much as personality clash, I think there are a lot of good players on that team. I'm hoping that they can manage to pull it off without imploding, but that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. We do have iEnders with a bit of a spicy, picking the Shrooms over the Imperials. Probably our only Shrooms over Imperials here.
Yeah, it's because I got my faith on my buddy Molly. Molly Wops is gonna carry this whole Ruby League. Now he's especially in his main role, which is mid, after being in the support jail. But
He played mid last split and got gapped, so
we'll see. But that's different. Was he in Ruby?
It was.
Well, he's gotten better. I've trained him.
I don't
Unarguably
think,
a better team.
I don't think he got gapped necessarily.
I just mean he
But,
didn't win.
Well, that's true.
Nah, I think they. It's just I think Molly, after losing back-to-back seasons pretty bad, because I've heard the horror stories. I think he's pretty focused. He's been practicing a lot in mid. I think Shrooms definitely is gonna probably rely on their solo laners a bit more. And so I think as long as their jungler can just play off mid top and bot lane just becomes a little bit more just try to scale and get to their power spikes without like blowing the game up in bot side, then I think they can win it.
Nice. I'm not gonna talk too much on the Kittens Falcons matchup. That I feel is self-explanatory. Falcons, feel free to prove me wrong. You know, we said it on draft night. Maybe there's something all of us don't know about. Maybe there was some third eye higher power revealed in a dream. But until I see it proven, I'm not too big. That being said, we do see astronaut sweep so far. I personally do love the Eagles. However, I do think Defoe maybe knows how to get the team in order quicker, just based on, prior experience of the Eagles. However, Becky, I believe you were our one believer.
Yeah, well, I believed in both the birds. All right, I believe it. And now, am I being a contrarian? Yes. Thank you. That's all I really have to say. No, I want to believe in the Eagles. I think early in the season, they're going to be able to do something that's more surprising, maybe catch some teams off guard. Whereas later in the season, it'll be when they're more figured out and bans are more figured out for people like Psycho Ghost, who has a bit of an odd champ pool in the jungle. I feel like they'll sort of fall off maybe in week 2. That's not very optimistic, is it? I think they'll do fine week 1 though.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping that they will not prove me wrong. Please, God, I want to believe. I want to believe. I want to believe. Please, Psycho, just don't let me down. I don't think I can do it again. I don't think I can do it again.
Well, I'm canceling your belief out with my non-belief, because, you know, it's fucking Psycho Ghost, and this is the third split in a row he's drafted a damn good team on paper. Becky, spoiler alert, tell us what happens.
Well, you know, sometimes he, you know, some people, you know, just don't do well and the team implodes, and it's all right. You know, this is the season.
This is the season. This is the season. All right. Well, TTM bias aside, let's move into our Sapphire rankings, see where we land. Not our featured match tonight, but still a very competitive league. Should be very exciting. Okay, not a lot of hot takes here, except for one.
Oh, we all know.
Except
what
for
that
one
one
very
is.
interesting hot take.
We all know what that is. Wait, I'm also interested why Carl thinks his team's gonna lose.
Wait, whoa,
Carl, would
hey,
you
hold
like
up,
to-
Crawl,
Whoa.
is this something you know that we don't? Hello?
Well, okay.
Check
So,
paper.
it's okay. So I have to say, right? Like, you have to be realistic. Well, we haven't played together, and when you look at the other team, you have never saw like Unfortunately, she dropped a nuke on me on exhibition, so I was like, I have to at least like give the respect, you know. Like even if you're going to win, it's like I cannot like predict that like okay we're gonna like win this game. It's like it would be kind of delusional if I thought like going into the game we were favorites. So
I can respect that, actually.
So I was
That
like,
makes sense to me.
like the expectation should be that they win, but like we can maybe win, but like the expectation is for them to win. So
Okay, I respect it.
I respect the realism. I would hope a little more confidence, but we'll see. I think it's good to have realistic expectations, but hopefully you can prove the haters wrong. That being said, Enders, justify
Yeah.
yourself, brother.
All right. So there's a little bit of logic here, and there's also a little bit of bias. Okay, I gotta root for my pre-made team. Okay, Batman and Rig. I gotta root for them. Okay, but listen, here's why I think Dragons will win. All right. Okay?
Mhm.
It's week 1. If this was week 2, 3 later, maybe I would probably go Ronin. But me knowing Rig, he's probably already got like 500,000 scenarios of what's gonna happen in draft. And Ronin probably are just like entering week 1 blind. That's my assumption. So I think Dragons are going to come a little bit more prepared in draft. Right? Rig will probably take control in the comms, make a new team that might not communicate that well. Alright? So I think Rig
He's gonna have to, because someone's gonna be a little quiet tonight.
I know somebody's going to be a little quiet. I know also I have some Ed's pre-made that I know probably isn't that happy being there, but we don't talk about that, okay? So look, the team, I think, has a very low ceiling, but I think if they're gonna get a win, it's gonna be today. After this, maybe not, but I think they're gonna beat Ronin. I think as long as Rig plays around top side maybe a bit more, he has to play for himself, but bot side might be a bit of a challenge unless SideClick can really hone in on the roam timers and impact the map. But other than that, I think it's gonna come down to what lanes can rotate quicker into plays, react quicker. I think Ronin have a really good support, jungle and top lane as well. And I know Happier also is familiar with the jungler, so there's going to be a bit of synergy. But I think it's going to come down to if Rig can create a big enough lead and SideClick can maybe make some plays around the map. And I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, I could believe that in terms of I think this is gonna be, if Rigor Mortis cannot win, it's doomed. And I think that's gonna be the Dragons' whole season. There are probably some better games in terms of the jungle gap making a huge difference. This, I think, is one of the ones where theoretically the difference is it could be there, but yeah. I believe
Chelsea's
you.
a
I
wild
want to
card.
believe.
Chelsea's a wild card. Like,
She's not playing tonight.
oh, she's not?
Oh
No.
shit, it's over. Never mind.
Okay.
I see the
Wait,
future. I see the
I-
future.
Is the wait? Who's the sub then?
Whoever was posted in draft sub player.
Oh,
All right, I see the future.
damn. Okay, I don't even know the jungle sub. So
No,
wait,
I
might
do, I
be
do
cooked.
agree though. It's look, there's a reason we have no draft terrorist Chelsea on the wanted list. All right. Are we gonna get legitimate player? Are we gonna get Gwen bot lane? Who knows? Who knows? Who cares? I will say though, it's always interesting to watch. I think is the word for it. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna go with.
yeah.
Also, always making entertainment. For those who were wondering, the fourth place match that ended in an ARAM. After what was it? It was like blind pick into ARAM into hate draft or something. That was a crazy way to end the split. Anything else for tonight? I don't think so. I think those are all our rankings. Does anyone have any hot takes before we send people off tonight? Anyone think
I have a couple.
something crazy?
I
Okay.
have some allegations going around.
Some allegations, all right.
I've come out of retirement just for some false.
Let me unmute my mic so I
prophecies.
can defend myself here. Let's
I-
go.
Oh,
I've
keep, shut
I've
up.
came out of retirement for some false prophecies going on around. All right, I don't know who. I won't say who's been saying such things, but there's an allegation of me being AFK, and
That was me.
You know what? I'm gonna give Carl some insight here, because the snakes will probably know. But I will guarantee you, I will get ahead in your bot lane. I will kill your bot lane multiple times, and this goes for every other team. Your bot lane will lose, and I guarantee that right now with Boulder. All right. So whoever picked round 1 ADC, you're gonna look real silly at the end of the season. No disrespect.
That's what
Alright,
I'm
That's all I have
saying.
to say.
We'll see in 2 hours, bud.
Yep.
Alrighty
But
then.
other than that, I think what I will say, the top 3 teams in my opinion are probably the ones that we see right. The top 3 right here is Raiders, Wizards, and Skeletons.
That does seem to be the general consensus.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I have to say about that.
I think we're gonna discover this season that Edaconic is not actually as good as everybody believes. This is where the
That's a
season
hot
where
take.
a fraud gets exposed.
Oh damn.
That is certainly a hot take.
Wait, who's the fraud?
Apparently, Edaconic
Presumably
is the fraud.
Edaconic, I guess.
Jesus Christ. We said hot takes, not center of the earth scorching takes.
Not
This is
just
this is
wrong
the this is the
takes.
Becky Rita copium right here.
Yeah, true.
Living
This
rent
is-
free over there.
Becky's still mad that he
I
lost to
am.
Edaconic.
I am still mad.
It's been 2 years, Becky.
I won't give up.
It's been 2 years.
An elephant
I-
never forgets. And I'm as large as an elephant, so I'm never forgetting.
The memory
Yours cute as an
scales.
elephant too.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna send ourselves off for tonight. For all of our players watching, good luck in your matches tonight. For anyone else, tune on in. We're gonna be live in about 10-15 minutes, give or take. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Have a good night. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Blue Otter Draft League. I am Leonard Rains. Joining me back again is Becky Rita. Dynamic duo, back together, baby.
Yes, free from the prison of, well, it's not I opted into it. The prison of directing a high school theater production. I am now have more than enough time to come in and cast here in the evenings, and I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be back here with you, Reigns, and I'm excited to see what our new season of Ruby League contenders have cooked up for us. Because tonight we have a very exciting match between one team that I think is very hyped up, is going to be one of our top Ruby teams, and another team that have more question marks than exclamation points next to them. So I'm really interested to see how this game plays out.
Yeah, that's certainly one way to put it. Another thing to note, we are now full fearless as well, which means draft should be a lot more interesting. Shout out Gauntlet, that whole for 6 hours having to watch Hui Ash Xinjiao picks
Woo!
1 through 3 over and over and over again.
Thank God.
Thank God I do not have to deal with that again. And Mel is actually banned. That is a triple mid ban.
Yes. Triple mid ban into Rutledge. And so the Spuds did something very interesting. KMZ had a very interesting draft here. So in the draft portion, went with Rutledge top, Boat Chicken mid. Then picked both of them and role swapped them day 0. So Rutledge, who is more of a mid lane player, is now in mid lane, and Boat Chicken, who is a flexible gamer, is up in top lane. So now these teams have to contend with somebody who is actually proficient in mid, where maybe they wouldn't have to worry about that in the past, which is why it's not too surprising to see 3 mid bans come out, especially the Mel, who is such a dangerous threat here in the current season.
Now, whoa. Are you telling me that my Goat Chicken is not a legitimate contender?
In mid lane, absolutely not. Boat Chicken, he does his things. He defies logic and reason, is what I'll say. But what doesn't defy logic and reason is Jinx here. Thank God we don't have to see this champion more than this series.
Yeah. Has been quite popular in a lot of the pro leagues as well. Something you see a lot just because it works so well with a multitude of different supports. Very good as a blind pick. And then you also have a couple of those more niche carries that maybe need some things to be picked out. Things like the Aphelios that usually don't come in until match 2 or match 3, when you can start sort of thinning that pool a little bit more. Doesn't have to deal with as much of the range. Can sort of play more into those strengths. But we do see Sivir locked in as an answer. I do like that little bit of Blades throw-in. We do see a big front line over here. The Xinjiao locked in once again in the jungle, and the Mundo, I assume, locked in for top lane.
Yeah, I would imagine. I feel like Xinjiao lane, wake up, Grandpa. It's 2025. You can't play Xinjiao in lane. But the Mundo, definitely a champion that I would imagine Boat Chicken to play. I wouldn't be surprised if this season he just ends up on tank duty pretty much every single game, and honestly, he could get away with it. Florigato, KMZ are a really strong bot lane. Rutledge is presumably pretty good in mid lane. As long as he can weak side top proficiently, I think he'll be fine. The response is we have the blind Orianna up for Ethereal Ice, which very interesting. I know Orianna's a fairly safe blind pick, but so I guess they have a chance to ban away some of the worst matchups, and we're probably going to see 5 mid bans from the Spartans.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's looking, given that the top matchup is already locked in, you don't want to thin out your jungle pool. There's probably not a lot of supports you care about, given how versatile Jinx could be. You're probably just going to see 2 of Orianna's biggest counters banned away. Big one obviously being the Victor, someone that can bully her, can somehow outrange her, still does a lot of power. Oh, okay, so we are going to see the Lulu ban. Definitely one of the better options with Jinx, especially when you're already drafting this front line. You're probably not going to get that Leona, that Nautilus, that Blitzcrank that a lot of people think is good. So banning away one of the stronger enchanters, I think, is good. And Pollen getting the Kayn banned away.
Yeah, Fallen, one of the junglers who is very proficient on some of these more aggro carry picks. What they're definitely known for. We're gonna see the Brian coming out. Brian Real. Okay, all
Okay,
right.
locked in already. And this is
All
what
right.
you love to see in these drafts, seeing some more unique picks. That is the Briar Jungle. Definitely an interesting pick, especially into a lot of these beefy mid lane, sort of brawlers, bruisers, juggernauts. You got the whole pack. And I'd imagine this is probably going to be a much more push lane into team fight or try and get a pick, right? Ball delivery system with the Briar. There's lots of different ways you can work with this.
Yeah, and I think the Brian in particular works very well with On the Hunt. The Mordekaiser as well. The champions all seem to... when you pick Sivir, you really want to pick champions that work well with her ulti, because otherwise, why are you boosting your own movement speed? You're fast enough sometimes. So if I'm Briar and Mordekaiser, I'm very happy to be paired with Sivir here. Even the Orianna benefits from being able to move a little bit more around in those team fights. We do have the Nautilus, going to be the line
won't
support.
be any enchanters. We'll see then Silas as well. Okay, so this is your classic yeah, I mean, hey, what have we talked about? If KMZ does nothing else, he will draft the sack of potatoes beatdown approach. And that's certainly what we're seeing. 4 giant beat sticks and a Jinx. Is there anything more Spuds than this?
Yeah, that's honestly, it's what I'm here for. Where they're just gonna play the beatdown. Who's the beatdown? It is the Spuds this game. And we're gonna see the Rel is gonna be the lock-in here. They were kind of hovering between 2 options. They go with the Rel. I do really like that paired with the Sivir. Again, another champion that loves to have that on the hunt boost. Plus, her lockdown allows Sivir to get a lot of damage out with the boomerang blades, or just get a ton of damage with just using Ricochet, even the Ricochet autos. I think it's a good pairing in the bot lane. Also, Rel is pretty solid in the Nautilus, which is, I imagine, why they waited to counterpick support here. They're trying to keep this bot lane as down as possible. But is it going to work is the question.
We'll have to see. I do like it, though, giving a bit more of that follow-up engage or primary engage, more ball delivery systems. The big thing here is making sure that Jinx does not get that initial pick, right? If Jinx gets it, combined with all of these meatballs, she is going to tear through your team, and there's really not going to be a lot you can do about it. You're not breaking through that front line if you don't get the initial pick, right? The biggest way that this could work is if you find a good Mordekaiser flank, you find a good wraparound, and you just take Jinx out of the fight completely.
Yeah. So just kind of going with quick predictions. For me, personally, I really like the champions that the Spartans have picked from a standpoint of I like these champions because they're interesting. But the Spuds just, I think, have a better roster for their team. I think that they're going to be able to play the beatdown well. The Silas has a lot of great ultimates to swipe this game. And if they can accelerate early on, especially if Beanloaf can get bot lane or top lane, or not top lane, bot lane or mid lane moving, it's going to be fantastic. Probably bot lane would be the priority here. I think that Spuds should take this one based on comp at least.
Yeah, so far, when I'm thinking, there's not a lot of ways for Spartans to get in if they don't start getting ahead right in that mid game, especially. The early game, they kind of could go anyway. I think Spuds definitely have a bit of a stronger early game, but going into that mid game transition, when you're on those 2 item spikes on your Sivir, on your Orianna especially, that's when you need to be finding those big shockwaves. That's when you need to be finding a lot of the bounce damage. That's where you need to be winning these team fights. You need to be getting, that second, third dragon. You have to be getting that Otacon. You have to be stacking up, because once you get to the 25-minute mark, you get to that Baron spawn, it's going to be really hard to take out these potatoes just running at you.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can take these potatoes down a peg here. When we get in on the Rift, we're going to go to a quick break while we wait for the spectator delay. When we come back, Spuds and the Spartans will be facing off in our first match of Blue Otter Draft Season 3. Stick around. Action coming at you after the break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Blue Otter Draft League. We are officially in game for game 1. As you can see, we're a bit of a minute in. Nothing too much has happened. Just dealing with some spectator stuff, but everything is all good now. We have some pretty classic starts, and honestly, I'm going to be looking at the top lane. I think it's going to be a very, let's call it a entertaining lane.
Yeah, this is what we call the legacy game right here. You know, it's the greatest yapper of the modern era versus the greatest yapper of all time. You know, who is up to the audience to interpret. But we do have two big personalities going up here on big beefy fellas here as the Mundo and Mordekaiser. And I will say, I didn't even think about the fact that Lizzo was on this team, to be honest, but Mord is definitely one of Lizzo's preferred top picks. So definitely good to see for Lizzo here. Looking around the map, just kind of glancing to see if there's anything noteworthy. The answer to that question is kind of no. The main thing is both of our AD carries have the lethal tempo, which I'm guessing is just what you do now.
Big thing is that Fallen is not running Hail of Blades, which means we're probably not seeing Lethality Briar. Yeah,
that was another thing, is that this is the press the attack. Both Hail of Blades and Press the Attack are pretty solid, but yeah, Hail of Blades is for the upfront burst if you're going to go the more DP, like, super burst lethality.
That is, I'm going to one-shot you without you being able to react. Like, I'm going to go in, once those 3 autos are done, you're already dead. It's before the Q stun even wears off, which, given the fact that, you know, the Jinx is the main target, isn't bad. The problem is, you know, you look at the Mundo, the Xin Zhao, the Sylas, you're just going to get blown up. You're going to get blown up before you can even get on that Jinx.
Yeah, it's the Nocturne problem of, you can kill the enemy AD carry, and then what? Then what, buddy? You're dead. So I do think that the more DPS, bruisery, auto-attacking option is going to be the pick here for Fallen, and I do think it fits better with how the team is operating here. For the Spartans, at least, looking to kind of death ball with the Sivir ulti. But it's going to be 2 death balls running into each other, so it's going to be a matter of size, I suppose. Which snowball is larger when the 2 collide? We'll have to wait and see about that. Otherwise, kind of just a slow start. Fallen, looking for something potentially.
Yeah, Rutledge going in under Ethereal Ice, popping the bone plating. Fallen's here, but so is Beanloaf coming in for the counter gank. A nice stun, though, comes out. Fallen looking to push them back. Lots of damage coming through, but Fallen forced back. Takes the flash out. Ethereal Ice using that Q. Getting a little bit of extra damage from the Airy, but no deaths so far. Both junglers flashing, and it is going to be the Ignite out of Rutledge. That's going to be a lot less pressure on Ethereal Ice now. Who's going to be able to hold that wave in, has the TP, and honestly, in these first couple levels, having that Ignite down is really huge.
Yeah, it's going to give Ethereal Ice a huge opportunity to start actually using Orianna's range and passive to brutalize the Sylas here. When he has Ignite, he has that constant kill pressure, especially with Beanloaf around, but Beanloaf also dropped Flash there. So that is a lot of pressure alleviated from Ethereal Ice, who can now look to try and control the lane a bit better with just the auto attack pressure. Fallen losing Flash there is not inconsequential, but, you know, I think Brian and Xin Zhao both have ways to get in without the Flash, even if it makes it a bit easier to do so. Leaving this kind of first 5 minutes as the first round of objectives spawn, gold dead even, nobody getting cracked here. You know, we're talking about Ruby being gonna be a bloody division. Not staying up to that so far, but I guess it is only 5 minutes and 30 seconds of the game. Still plenty of time for things to go crazy.
Yeah, and something to note, both carries going the call on their first back as well as the longsword, so not looking for anything too crazy. Ethereal Ice getting jumped on. Rutledge with some good damage. Ethereal Ice now looking just to trade back a little bit short on that ball. And, you know, that's what we were talking about. Rutledge just being such a threat in mid, really knowing how to prioritize the damage here. Does have to be a little bit careful. Gets a nice heal, but KMZ flashes forward. Doesn't manage to land that dredge line. A nice flash from Ethereal Ice. Now real Beanloaf is here. to go in. Gets the wind
Flash.
becomes lightning, and Rutledge goes in. A nice block from Nightclaw, who's going to try and find his way out before
Oh,
Spuds.
no.
Beautiful dredge line from
Wait.
KMZ. Gets hit by the
Oh.
tower shot, but he's not going to be able to finish it off. Nightclaw and Ethereal Ice both make it out with their lives. A lot of flashes used, but no one ends up dead.
Yeah, great stuff from Nightclaw to keep Ethereal Ice alive there. Almost ends up having to give their own life for it, but they did still have the flash. So in the end, it ends up just kind of being another trade of summoners. Granted, Rutledge here now has the flash advantage. So the summoners are in favor of the Silas, especially because Ethereal Ice burned TP to get back to lane initially. Fallen going to be looking for a scuffle here, does have the advantage of being Brian.
Yeah, it does have the extra lifesteal, has the EP needed. And without any junglers having flash, it's just going to be a fair one-on-one. Fallen taking first blood
Boat Chicken.
out there. Now going to be able to collapse onto Boat Chicken. Forced to pop that maximum dosage. Has a lot of healing. Getting some good damage onto Fallen. Rutledge is here as well, but the rocket comes in. It's going to be KMZ taking it with the dredge line. Boat Chicken now getting run down by Lizzo, who puts him in the death realm. Gets one more auto off. Takes the shield. Needs to get a little bit more damage onto Rutledge, but it's not quite going to be enough. Rutledge puts him into the death realm instead. Doesn't even need KMZ's help. Wants the 1v1 just to style on him. A 2-for-2 trade at the end of it.
Yeah, Lizzo pulling that fella into the realm might have actually kind of doomed Fallen there, because it just freed up the window for the Super Mega Death Rocket to crash in to Fallen, and it was pretty easy then for KMZ to just claim that one. Lizzo is able to get a kill onto Boat Chicken, who had a bit of fancy footwork there, gotta say. Survived a lot longer than I expected. And once Lizzo was out of the realm over the wall, there just really wasn't a whole lot to be done. It was just a matter of picking that up with Rutledge arriving, stealing that ultimate, getting that kill. Looked a little dicey there, but at the end of the day, was able to turn that one back around. And we do have a 2-for-1 around the top side. Meanwhile, in bot, Floragato gonna get tagged.
Yep, getting hit up by Fallen, trying to run it down, use the E to block himself off, but he's eating so many tower shots, and Super Mega Death Rudder from Floragato takes him out. Now excited, and Rutledge on the roam. Nightclaw slowed up, Melee Vein flashing out, but Boat Chicken is already down with the TP. Nightclaw goes out, hit by the briefcase, the TP in from Lizzo, but it's just a little bit too late. 2 kills picked up for the potatoes as Rutledge runs back mid.
Yeah, that there was what I like to call, from my experience playing Brian, that you are not Nocturne. You cannot do that. You cannot just dive in. You don't have a spell shield. So it was just super easy. Oh, we do have a fight?
Yeah, looking for it. Ethereal Ice with some good damage, and Fallen's there to back up the mid laner. Rutledge has to be a little bit careful now. Fallen could jump forward, and Lizzo's here as well. She's going to back out, though. However, taking the Briar ultimate could put pressure on Ethereal Ice. Has to be careful. And see, Rutledge wants to look for it. But also has that ultimate if they want to go for some cheeky roams. Just trying to bait it in. Ethereal Ice with no shockwave means if Rutledge manages to get in, but does miss out on that ultimate. Ethereal Ice not going to get dove by the Silas Briar ultimate. Doesn't have to worry about that right now.
Yeah, does manage to dodge out on that. Sort of taking a step back before Fallen, did turn one around, just punishing Beanloaf, who was a little bit too far forward off of a bit of a risky invade. That engage from Fallen in the bot side was just a matter of going too far and not having the ability to get out, which is one of Brian's big weaknesses, especially with the ulti. It's a fantastic ability, but that combined with your Berserk just gets you stuck in situations that if you get CC chained, there's no hope for you. And it was just a matter of, one in, KMZ CC chained, and a Super Mega Death Rocket claimed that one. The follow-up kill was just a matter of... I'm trying to think. There were 2 kills down there, so I don't remember who else died. But at the end of the day, what matters is the pot side went sideways, but they did get something back around the top side jungle, at least for the Briar, who is 2-2-1 right now. I honestly don't mind this. I feel like if your gold isn't going on Melee Vein on the Sivir, you probably do just give it to the Briar. It will eventually be she can become a 1v9 super threat given enough gold and enough time.
Yeah, definitely. I think both of the carries, given enough time, can kind of just become monsters. If you've never played into a 6-item Sivir, suddenly, the Sivir is hitting your front line, and you're standing 10 miles away, and you're still dead, and you wonder what the hell just happened to you. Similar to Jinx, right? Once you get those rockets online, those crits hit really, really hard. So both carries trying to looking to scale, but Florigato significantly further ahead, up almost 20 CS, 1 extra kill, 2 extra assists, almost a 1,000 gold difference is, pretty hefty. However, matched pretty evenly by the top and jungle of the Spartans, looking pretty strong there. I think a lot of this is going to come down to, like we said, the side lanes and then moving the side lanes into the mid game. How are you going to work with those solo lanes? How is Fallen going to be able to collapse? Meanwhile, Rutledge looking mid, but Ethereal Ice forced to flash out. Nice shockwave back into Fallen, who's looking for some damage. Rutledge gets a nice heal. Nightclaw flashes in, but isn't able to land the ultimate onto Rutledge. Fallen flashes forward, but is not keeping track of the cooldowns. A nice heal from Rutledge. The Kingslayer keeps him alive, and now Ethereal Ice is getting run down by Beanloaf. Nightclaw can do nothing but watch their carries die.
Yeah, again, it's another case of you go in as Briar, you don't have a spell shield. So you just get locked up instantly if you don't have the proper follow-up. And the Rel was there. The Sombrero, the Shockwave, led that off, but it just wasn't enough into the amount of CC that KMZ and Rutledge were able to fire back. And the aggression from Fallen there, I think what would have been kind of the smarter play is to, once you see Rutledge get away, you count your blessings. You say, all right, Silas neutralized. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to try and get Xin Zhao here, because Xin Zhao is not that threatening right now. But instead, Fallen goes for the kind of greedy kill and ends up getting punished as a result. This is one of those cases where you got to be careful. You got to sort of figure out, what do I need to do to succeed here? And the answer, if it is not sprint it down, it is never sprinted down. Fun fact, actually. So, I don't know. It's just a bit of a beef here. So we do have another fight.
Ethereal Ice caught out, put into the Death Realm as Rutledge goes in. Rocket downtown from Florigato. Fallen picks up the dragon, but it is going to be Ethereal Ice going down. Rutledge still here. Does have the Orianna ultimate. One more taken out. Fallen has to run back. Nightclaw gets taken into that as well. Lizzo trying to run away, but Florigato is already excited. And the shock pistol is going to be enough to slow to take him out. It was a nice dragon attempt from Spartans, but that entire fight was just a little bit too chaotic, right? Like, Rutledge just immediately finding Ethereal Ice on the backline, then taking the shockwave so that you just can't fight. If you ever try and fight, Rutledge is just going to run into you, throw himself into your team, and shockwave everyone. And still you barely make it out with any lives, right? Only 2 people make it out. Lizzo and Melee Vayne, but I don't know. It's getting very rough at this point. Rutledge 4-0-2 on that Silas. The Jinx is now 3-0-3. Although they might be able to find Beanloaf here. If they're going to look for an opening, this has to be it. Nightclaw going in, but Shock Pistol zones him off. A nice little sidestep there from Beanloaf. Keeps themselves safe and keeps the ball rolling.
Yeah, and I do think that last fight, a lot of it came down to, I think it's just a matter of miscommunication. Fallen decided to just trade their life for the Drake. They did get it. Fallen was able to secure that Drake there, but the rest of the team, once Ethereal Ice gets caught, I think you just abandon Fallen to, a good luck buddy burger flip it. You don't send the rest of your team into that, and especially Melee Vayne is honestly kind of been a non-participant in this game. Not that there's a whole lot Sivir can do when the rest of the team is falling so quickly. But it's just been really rough. And Rutledge on the Silas has been an absolute terror. Picking the right ultis, finding the right angles, neutralizing the right targets. Rutledge has been making it so difficult for Fallen and Ethereal Ice and Lizzo to do anything here, and we're still kind of just waiting for Sivir to start getting some items to be useful. And until then, it just is Silas getting more and more gold, more and more kills, getting these easily won fights. And once that gold lead becomes insurmountable, I don't know if Silas can be killed.
Yeah, Nightclaw not letting that stun Beamloaf, using the Crescent Guard to try and buy some time. Floragato with some nice damage from downtown Rocket. Fallen looking to go back, looking into the bush, trying to get some feeling off. Floragato's already up here on the roam. Now finally excited for Beamloaf picking up the kill. The shock pistol gonna land it onto Lizzo, tries to pull him back, looking for a little bit, gets Floragato in the 1v1, trying to run it down. If they're gonna get it shut down, this is it, but a nice flash from Floragato pops the barrier. It's gonna be one more auto. Lizzo does manage to pick up that shutdown, but goes down in the process. Boat Chicken picking up their second kill of the game, and an extra little bit of Heartsteel stacking over there.
Yeah, that is another slightly better looking fight, but once again, it's just Fallen going in too hard, too far, and getting punished for it. You can't play Briar this way. This isn't how the champion is supposed... I mean, I'm not good at Brian. I'm not going to claim I'm an expert on the champion. But I feel like you have to start being smarter about the engages you take. Because while later in the game you can become this unkillable monster, you still are on 1 and 2, like 2/8 of an item. I guess that's 1/4. You don't need to keep going in like this. You're just gonna keep giving gold over and wasting your own time. You need to be smarter about your engages rather than being the engage. Follow up on Nightclaw, or follow up on a good pick from Ethereal Ice. If you're playing like the person who is just trying to make plays happen, you're not going to do it here on the Briar. I don't think it's going to happen. And unfortunately, that requires somebody else on the Spartans to step it up, and nobody seems to be cutting the mustard, which is unfortunate. But, great stuff from the Spuds. Really good punish on some of these oversteps from Fallen, or, and taking that further, going after, if somebody goes to help Fallen out, you take him out too. Lizzo at least traded one back, but that's, it's a little victory. It's a moral victory, but not much else.
Yeah, and another thing to note, Fallen going not for the Bork rush, but actually for the Titanic Hydra rush, which sort of tends to lend itself more to a bit of a mixed farming and fighting playstyle rather than a full fighting. And then you're playing like you have the Bork, right? Which I think is another mistake, right? You have the build that is sort of antithetical to what you're actively trying to do. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And now you can see the Spuds going for that Infernal Dragon, gonna stop the soul stacking from the Spartans, and there's not really anything on the map to trade out, so the Spuds can kind of just do what they want.
Yeah, we do see a small trade in topside as Melee Vein will spell shield something, but will get knocked out here fast enough to get out, but
maybe one more over the wall.
Yeah,
makes it out. All right. Yeah, they did block the dredge line. Did have to eat the ult for it though. Rutledge using flash, but it is just gonna be flash for flash. Melee has to try and take this out. The Herald just doing so much work on these towers. Gets the tier 2. It's a nice little chunk there onto the mid tier 3, and it's just brutal. You keep looking at it. Rutledge is just so far ahead on the Silas. Just so much damage. The Jinx already on that Infinity Edge fight pre-20 minutes. And, you're staring down the barrel of these two hyper-accelerated carries, one of which loves to snowball. The other scales so well into the late game, backed up by so much health and so much defense. You really need kind of a miracle pick on Floragato if you want to end up winning these team fights, right? You need a miracle pick on Floragato. You need Melee Vein to be able to pump out the damage without getting run down by Rutledge and Beamloaf.
Yeah, fortunately, I think the Atacon... Okay, Beamloaf probably won't get this. Yeah, Rel is fine. The Atacon, I think, is going to be kind of the tipping point here. It's going to be the last chance, I think, for the Spartans to actually try and turn this. And they are not in a great position for it, especially since Melee Vein is going to die to death. Oh, no, never mind, not dying to death. But nobody is around this Atacon right now, and it is getting shredded.
Yeah, Floragato doing quite a lot of damage. Lizzo might be caught out, though. Hit with... Oh, can't even dodge out on it. Rutledge going in, looking for Ethereal Ice. Melee Vein
This is
throwing out
so
the boomerang
tragic.
blades, but just does not do anywhere near enough damage. And Rutledge going unstoppable now, picking up another kill. The Otacon goes down, and it was actually the Voracious Otacon. Right, that's the word for it. It's what? It's Voracious and Ruinous, right? Ruinous. No,
Ruinous.
it is Voracious though. There wasn't a lot happening in the very early game, so it is going to be the Resurrections. But with Spuds picking that one up, having free res, they basically have free reign to do whatever they want right now. They're already sitting on the 7k gold lead, and now they all have free resurrections. Any shutdown you get, well, actually, you didn't get it. That's probably the worst part here, is that even a massive fight win, you don't even get the gold for it anymore. So Spartans really just praying that something insane happens, and you can see something like that, but it doesn't matter, because even if Beanloaf goes down, he's just gonna go right back to Nexus. Doesn't matter.
He's withdrawing. He's withdrawing, folks.
Withdrawing.
He didn't die. He's withdrawing.
Yeah, Etherealized, getting a little bit of gold for it, but nowhere near enough.
Withdrawing.
200. Florigato getting run down. Lizzo looking
Florigato
for
not even gonna withdraw, just taking Lizzo with him.
Nope.
Honest, just flip it, Florigato. Just turn around and go crazy.
Go for it.
All right.
Yeah,
the shockwave burn there as Jinx withdraws.
Yeah. Good damage down there, and you get a little bit of that gold injection, from the 200, but like I was saying, you just get a little bit. You don't actually get any of the kill or shutdown gold. So all those beautiful shutdowns that you thought you just got
is nothing.
No, it's still somehow, after all is said and done, despite getting all those kills, that 7k gold lead is now cut to an 8k gold lead.
8k gold lead. Hooray!
Yeah, it actually increased because of the towers and the kills. It's a pretty dire situation.
Yeah,
right
it's
now,
a well-designed game mechanic from Riot Games. Great company. Make sure you spend your money on the $2,500 skin. Otherwise, we can't afford to keep the servers live. Also, we're taking away your Hextech chests. Folks, we love Riot Games. Sorry, sidetrack. Yeah, it is really bad to be the Spartans right here. Beanloaf gonna be there, but not really going to amount a whole lot. The front line from the Spartans are not strong enough to stand up to literally anyone. I think at this point, Florigato getting the opportunity to free fire onto any of Spartan's front line just gets absolutely demolished. Florigato currently on 2 2/3 of an item. Meanwhile, our friend Melee Vane, who did finally die, which it's technically contributing to the game, is on 1 and I don't know, is that like 4/7 of an item? I don't know how to feel about that one, to be honest. This Fallen is gonna get beaten down by Boat Chicken. Though Melee Vane is here, we'll have to pop that.
Yeah, the Grievous wounds, nice, but
wait, Fallen, you're just gonna lose the Boat Chicken.
Nice healing. The rocket comes out, so much damage, looking for more, but he knocks him away from the shockwave. Rutledge goes in, now onto Ethereal Ice, pulled into the Death Realm, finally goes out, now pulled in from Nightclaw, needs to find some extra damage. Melee Vane trying to fire back, trying desperately, does manage to get the shutdown, absolutely massive, and now Lizzo Mukbang using that Rallies, trying to run down Boat Chicken, but the base is being destroyed. It's just Beanloaf and Florigato running down the Nexus. Boat Chicken looking for the dodges. Nightclaw trying to get a little bit more. Lizzo Mukbang looking for some healing. Will he get it? Needs a little bit more. One more briefcase and the Goat Chicken takes him out. Nightclaw looking back for some stuns, but it is just a Rel against 2 meaty meatballs over there. Melee Vane does take the back, trying to maybe find those waves. Nightclaw still alive somehow, but will eventually go down. There's only so long you can survive. And while all that was happening, Beanloaf and Florigato were just kind of trying to end the game. They took out 2 inhibitors, pushing on those Nexus towers, have all that gold. And if there's any consolation prize, anything at all, it's that Melee Vane did get that massive shutdown onto Rutledge, is able to finish that second item. Unfortunately, all the healing means that instead of an Infinity Edge, they were forced to get a Mortal Reminder.
Yeah, we got Mortal Reminder.
Oh, folks, another shutdown? No?
We're gonna cut that healing down. I want to get a heal check at how useful this item purchase was. later as the game develops. Although I
Yeah.
imagine we won't get much of a. Here's the big deal.
I'd also like to know-
Why do we? And we also have the healing reduc on Oriana. Why don't we cripple 2 of our carries? This is a great idea, folks.
Okay, 800. 800 is not bad. That's pretty good. My problem
not
is
bad.
that you're finishing the Mortal Reminder, and you're going in attack speed. You are not getting Infinity Edge on your carry until 4 items. This game is not making it to 4 items.
Buddy, I honestly, you just skip the healing reduc. If they have to out heal your damage, you're already dead. You
I'm gonna
might
be
as
honest.
well
I
just
think
try
you
and
just
kill
skip the attack speed. Like if you want to go for the I think the armor shred is fine, right? You get the last whisper item second, that's fine. But why are you? Do we really need what quick blades here? You have the lethal tempo, you have the W. You just need the
Essence
damage.
Reaver.
You need the damage, buddy. Just go full AD. You have lethal tempo, you have the W, you have the attack speed. It's fine. You don't need to sacrifice your Infinity Edge to 4th item. And look at this. The Baron's already at half HP. It just got started.
Yeah, it's looking real dire here.
Spuds
for
can do
the
whatever
side.
they want. I'm
The
kind of shocked the
Spartans.
game isn't already over, but now that they have that Baron buff, it might as well be. Boat Chicken dueling Lizzo in the bot lane, and
Yes, boat
it's
chicken.
it's not when your Mordekaiser is losing the 1v1 to the Mundo, it is not looking great. We'll see though. Pulled into the Death Realm. Does have that extra healing. It is going to be battle of the health bars, battle
Boat
of the
chicken,
big boys.
boat
Lizzo
chicken.
Mukbang looking
Lizzo
for
does
some
have the
extra
shield.
damage here. Does still have the shield. That's a
You
big
have the
pull.
pop. Get the heal. Boat
Get the
chicken,
heal,
no.
boat chicken, no.
Boat
Not
chicken,
like
no.
this.
Oh, it's a disaster.
It's a disaster. But now it's a disaster for the Spartans in their base. Fallen gets a Nightclaw attack into the wall. Nightclaw goes in, gets a little pull onto 2. Beanlo finally does go down, but Florigato is excited off the back of it. Now in the 1v2, flashes in, gets 1, gets 2. Florigato space gliding all over them for a triple kill. Ethereal Eyes forced all the way back into their base. However, now that Lizzo Mukbang is back, they're going to be able to defend. This Florigato pulled in. Nice fancy footwork, but not fancy enough. It's going to be the shutdown going over to Ethereal Ice, putting her on the board for the first time in this game.
Yeah, Florigato dropping a flower trick right there onto the opponents, but not quite enough to find lethal as the Spuds have a little bit of a happy gamer moment. They go down, 2 kills went over to Fallen. Ethereal Ice gets that last shutdown there. The Assault is they are forced to withdraw. They didn't die, they withdrew. However, it is sort of just delaying the inevitable here, as we have 3 inhibitors down. I guess the unfortunate thing is, without a Baron, it might be a little bit more difficult, because if Sivir can do anything, it's kill minion waves pretty quickly. Fallen gonna lose their life for blue buff. I've seen this movie before, and I didn't like the ending. It's... Okay, Fallen will not die for blue buff. Maybe.
KMC, maybe. Are we gonna hit the cone? Are we gonna hit the blast cone? Fallen over the wall and just gets out. Yeah, like you were saying though, the Sivir being able to just delete waves, that means that without the Baron, not really gonna be able to actually siege that base. So they're just gonna pick up the dragon, put that on cooldown, and say, you know, maybe we wanted this game to be over at 25, but we're scaling well enough. We don't have to be worried about it, right? We're just doing enough that there's not really a lot. Rutledge, don't really know what that was supposed to be.
It's a deception. We deceived them. All right, but Florigato has arrived. I think as long as we don't continue to run it down at them, Florigato has been caught.
Caster Curse? Caster Curse? Is this gonna be the ace? Fallen goes in with the ultimate, using more. Lizzo Mukbang gets a nice pull onto Real Beanloaf. Boat Chicken forced to use the maximum dosage just for the movement speed to run out. Lizzo Mukbang trying to engage, but the towers go down. Real Beanloaf trying to in the 1v2, but it's not going to be enough. Lizzo picks up a triple kill onto it. It won't be an ace, but the Nexus towers are down. The lucky thing is, Nexus towers do respawn right now.
Yeah.
So if you're able to hold on, those are coming back. That's not going to be an open Nexus forever. Those were some big shutdowns. I mean, that Baron is definitely dangerous if you're going to be able to fight it. You have the Infernal Soul in 4 minutes. but the gap is kind of closed. It was a, what, 11k gold lead at one point, now cut down to only about 5,000. Lots of shutdowns in that fight, and Spuds might have gotten overexcited trying to close out this game. Weren't taking it slow enough. We're trying to be a little bit fancy with it. Rutledge trying to show off, and might be a bit of a miscalculation there. Could be their downfall.
It's something that, we were you actually posed the question of, hey, why are the Spuds not ending with the gold lead they have? And now we're kind of seeing that, how are they supposed to end without Baron? Because Sivir perma-clears waves. So as long as they don't have Baron, it just sort of forces the Spuds to try and deathball, and honestly, I don't know why the Spuds aren't just right-clicking as 5 players down mid lane. I think you win if you do that. I don't know what they're afraid of, personally.
The Nexus towers are gone now. It doesn't matter if Sivir can clear waves, because the Nexus is exposed. There's no towers to siege. There's nothing else to worry about. Chicken going in, Fallen trying to find the flank from behind. The Crimson goes in. Nightclaw with a beautiful ult onto 3. Rutledge already in the death realm, and now it's Melee Vein getting run down by Boat Chicken. Can't do anywhere near enough damage to the Mundo. A double kill for Florigato, a triple kill for Florigato. Now running at the Nexus. Melee Vein trying desperately to fire back onto Boat Chicken. Gonna be able to pick up the kill, but it's gonna be a quadra for Florigato and a Nexus for Rutledge. 11, 3, and 10 on the Jinx, closing it out without the Penna, unfortunately. But it's going to be the Spuds taking game 1 in a pretty decisive and dominant victory. A little bit of throwing here and there, but overall, Spuds in control that entire game.
Yeah, honestly, maybe I'm just a pessimist. I would argue that was not decisive. I feel like with the lead you had as the Spuds, you shouldn't have wasted your time, faffing about in the bot lane or sending Rutledge going on a suicide mission. You just walk in as 5 players. What's Sivir gonna do? She doesn't have any AD. She's not gonna do any damage. So I feel like the Spuds may have got a little bit too loose with it. Sure, they still won, and they still have very much dominated the game, but it got really dangerously close there. And I think if they continue to sort of play that way, where they were kind of sending, doing a 1-3-1, or, sending this guy over here and then just kind of getting picked off, we could have seen the game flip. They were smart about it. They decided to actually win the game, but that's not like an achievement considering the gold lead they have. That was what should have happened.
Yeah, and this is sort of what we see a lot in Ruby, right? Which is a little bit of sloppiness towards the end, but eventually you close it out. But there were some close calls right at the end there. If they were able to hold on just a little bit longer, there was a very real chance that Spartans were going to be able to come back should they get their items online, but not quite able to do it. I think damage charts kind of say it all, right? Ethereal Ice stuck at the 19k, just so far down. Melee Vein and Fall all below Lizzo, who was just beating the crap out of everyone all game with that giant mace. And Fallen, look, maybe you know Briar better than I do. How you see Nautilus, Silas, Xinjiao, and Mundo on a team and think that this isn't a board game, I honestly don't know.
I mean, it's a bit of a miscalculation, I think, but they're in our next game. We won't have to see some of these big champions like the Jinx or the Silas here. So now we'll be able to see what these teams do going into our next match of this best of 3. If the Spuds are going to be able to close it out, or if the Spartans will hold the line for another 2 games. We'll have to see when we get back from another break to see the next draft of Game 2.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back into Draft 4 Game 2. As you can see, our special fancy overlay. You get to see all the disabled champions. Woohoo! Woohoo! Fearless! It's
Yeah,
actually
you
really
know.
cool. It looks nice.
Yeah, I'm glad it's there because I wouldn't have remembered. This is very convenient for me. Anyways, we're gonna see some new champions here on the Rift. Maybe some different bans, but I do kind of doubt it. We do get to free up a mid lane ban. We decide to ban Vi, which I don't think came up at all last game. They know something I don't. That's what I'm gonna say. Mel gets through though, and that is huge.
Yeah. Don't really know if they thought that Mel just wasn't gonna get picked, but yeah. I'd imagine this goes to Etherealize. That being said, could always go bot lane. Definitely an option. Could go support, but I feel like that's much more of a solo queue shits and giggles pick. Like I realistically, like, Mel doesn't really do a lot on support. The CC is extremely unreliable. The shield you can't put on a teammate. Like it's very much just like less range than like a Xerath. Like I don't think there's a lot of usefulness in Mel support, so I'd imagine she's gonna go mid, but still a pretty good mid blind pick. We are gonna see the Sejuani picked up for Beanloaf going nice and aggressive, and looks like we're gonna go see that that run back of the sack potatoes beatdown approach. And I was talking about it game 1, right? The Aphelios, a champion that loves to come out when some of those other picks are taken away, things like the Jinx, things like the Sivir that can deal very well with it, now no longer exist.
Yeah, KMZ's in draft just picks Aphelios, looks at AD carry. Wait, that's not who I thought that was. It is so sad that KMZ's AD carry is not the Maul here on the Aphelios, but the Aphelios nonetheless is quite exciting to see. As the AD carry pool in particular is one that gets pinched very quickly in Fearless. Especially if you try to target it, it gets you have to start getting creative with your picks in bot lane. But speaking of bot lane, that is going to be confirmed Mel mid, as we have Xayah Rakan picked up for the bot lane here of the Spartans.
Yep,
literal cannon duo.
Cannon duo.
But I will say, honestly, I don't know how to feel about it in the grand scheme of things. And Anivia was a champion that was banned in round 1 of our last draft and made it through here and is picked up. I've got a feeling there's a reason we banned Anivia in the first round, and we're going to figure that out this game.
Yeah. The bright side here, I'm pretty sure Mel can block the Q, right? I think. I know a lot of the interactions with like hover skill shots are weird, but we'll see. Can definitely block the Aphelios ult. That's going to be a massive thing that you're going to be able to reflect. Same with the Glacial Prison. There's a lot of good abilities that Mel's can be able to bounce back. But right now, things already locked in, looking pretty good. Gonna take out the Garen. Do not want Lizzo on that, or run you down, get true damage out of nowhere. So we are gonna see it. We are also gonna see the Lulu ban, which Lulu Aphelios hasn't really been a thing for a while, so I don't really know if that's.
I'm
really
guessing it. I know like KMZ played some enchanters last split, but I mean it's not like you care, I don't think, that you get the Lulu, because I mean Thresh is more.
Yeah, Aphelios
I was
Thresh.
gonna say Thresh is like
the number 1 Aphelios pairing, right? Like when you think Aphelios, you're like, yes, Aphelios Thresh, right? You get the lantern, you get all the hooks, you get all the pressure. It's a little strange to me. I get the Poppy ban though. I like that just because of how good it is in Turkan. Obviously, you probably want to draft some more engaged, so getting that out of the way is nice. But yeah, getting the Thresh locked in, getting your top lane counter pick, and it feels like Spuds have just already won drafts, and there's still picks left to go, right? Like,
yeah,
it's a little rough. Let's see if there's anything interesting here. We do see the Lilia, the Fallen special.
Yeah, one of Fallen's favorite champions, the Lilia. However, we're starting to get into territory where a lot is riding on Lizzo here. If I'm Lizzo, you know, blind picking my tank for top lane, because you need something in the front line that actually soaks up damage. Ooh, now this is horrifying. Oh, Bongo just woke up in a cold sweat seeing this one. The Lizzo Malphite coming out in the top lane, not the mid lane, but will be a tank. And the response from the Goat Chicken currently looking like it might be the Thomas. I don't mind
Thomas
that. I think
Kenchington the third.
I think Ornn, Thomas, either are good options.
Yeah.
And yeah, they will lock in the Thomas, and that's just another person who has the ability to kind of bail a Phelios or a Nivea out if need be. And in the end, the Spuds have a 2-threat, 3-tank composition, while the Spartans have gone with something a little more avant-garde, shall we say.
Yeah, and it's also it's a little fun. You know, you got blue side picking red champs, you got red side picking blue champs. If you squint their eyes, that's literally just opposite color drafts. I don't know if there's you notice that. I just
I see
very
it
funny to me.
actually. I see it.
It's cool. It's cool. You got a little bit of opposite day going on. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I do like the Malphite. I think it's gonna provide some much needed just go buttons. Especially when you're playing into something like a Phelios and a Nivea, you need a way to just bypass all that space that they're putting down, right? And Nivea's going to drop the Glacial Storm. You have Phelios dropping turrets, has the Chakrams. You need something that can just ignore all of that and just say, okay, I'm going in now. Everything you've done up to this point doesn't matter. And that's exactly what that Unstoppable Force is going to do. It's going to line it up for the Rakan. It's going to line it up for a Lily Asleep. It's going to be very, very useful. However, then you look at the other side, you have that Tahm Kenchi, you have the Lantern, you have a lot of ways to outplay this. So I still think I favor the Spuds draft overall.
Yeah. I want to believe in the Spartans, but after last game and with the draft they've assembled here, it just looks not good. I feel like the Spuds have just assembled such a strong composition. Granted, I'm not the biggest fan of 2-threat compositions. It's better than having 1 threat, of course, but 2-threat compositions can be very easily dismantled if one of the threats falls behind. Because then you just send everybody after the guy who actually has a gold lead, and then you don't worry about the other person. But considering what we saw last game, the kind of gap in proficiency between Ethereal Ice and Rutledge in the mid lane, and the laning difference between Melee Vayne and his lane opponent. Sorry to the AD carry of the Spuds, I don't remember who you are. Yeah, it just feels like it's going to be super rough for the Spartans to try and take this one, and big beefy compositions and front lines with this huge scaling carry threats. It's gonna take them a while to win the game, but I think they will be able to do it.
We'll have to see, but for right now we're gonna cut it to a short break. When we come back, we will be in game for game 2, seeing if the Spuds will be able to take it 2-0, or if the Spartans are gonna bring us to a game 3. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and welcome back into Game 2 of our series, the Spuds versus the Spartans. Game 1, Spuds with a dominant lead in the early game, into the mid and the late game, taking over completely and bringing us to an easy Game 2. Seeing if the Spartans are going to be able to claw their way back, or if the Spuds are just going to use that sack of potatoes approach and beat them over the head for a clean 2-0.
Yeah, and the Spuds absolutely are looking to once again deathball this game, and hopefully they actually do decide to roll down the mid lane as 5 players the entire game once they get a lead instead of, you know, whatever happened at around 30 minutes of the last game. But that's, you know, in the past. We learn from this. We have a little fun here on Summoner's Rift, and we're going to have a little fun here this game as well. Sort of looking around the Rift here, Florigato opting into the press the attack. I imagine that is sort of just preferred for Aphelios. I have some ideas as to why, but I don't play the champion, so I can't get into the minutia of it. We have the Electrocute going in for Rutledge, just looking for huge burst on the Anivia, looking for every opportunity possible to whack Ethereal Ice. I'm trying to think. I feel like the Anivia Q is a projectile while it's like flying, but I think once you explode it, it's not a projectile. I can't say for certain because you know, some of these abilities are a little funky. We do have a ward here. We'll get some intel as to where Fallen might possibly be. Fallen going for a full clear on top side as Beanloaf kind of looking to move from bot to top. Kind of interesting. I wonder what Fallen's planning on doing with this positioning on the Rift. Maybe looking to try and help Melee Vayne and Nightclaw out, because the Zyricon is a very strong duo, especially in the early stages of the game, while this Aphelios is kind of anemic and waiting for some kind of power once the weapons shuffle a bit and gets some more advantageous dueling options.
Yeah, and once you get those two, you also want the Serrated Dirk early on. That's going to be a massive, massive spike if you decide to go that route. Or if you decide to go for the BF route, you know, just getting that massive 1300 straight 40 AD is also a really nice play. It looks like with Fallen finishing up those Krugs, though, and Nightclaw roaming up, it's just going to be a full clear. You do have Nightclaw going over mid, seeing if they can maybe find something, but Rutledge playing towards the side that's safe, has that egg still, doesn't really have to worry about it too much. It's just gonna be Nightclaw running back bot lane, and yeah, not a lot happening early on. Lizard does have to be a bit careful, low on mana, and Boat Chicken can definitely use that to capitalize.
Yeah, Thomas has the ability to really just one of Malphite's biggest weaknesses is just becoming super mana hungry early on, and the, you know, wasting all of your mana on pinwheels is not going to be super effective. I think in this lane, because your poke is pretty much insignificant with the pinwheels, you probably just try and look to trade in with your brutal spikes in melee range, get the slowdown on the auto attacks, and just try and punch out Thomas, at least until he gets his stacks on you. But that's easier said than done, as Beanloaf's going in.
Yep, looking for the damage. So, does manage to get the reflect on the stun, but not much else. Ethereal Ice, forced to blow the flash, but nothing else going to come out of that. Playing nice and safe. Does not want a repeat of the Silas from last game.
Yeah, and that sort of answers my question of how does the reflect work on the Anivia Q? It just works as you'd expect it to. What a surprise! Things work as intended. You would never expect that in League of Legends. As yeah, good reflect from Ethereal Eyes, staying alive there. Does have to burn the flash though. And into we do have a pauser here. We'll see. We'll see what happens. What's going on with Florigato on this one, but yeah, into the Sejuani not having flash is very dangerous, especially because Sejuani didn't burn their own flash. So Rutledge later on, especially once Rutledge gets 6, with the wall plus the CC chain from the Sejuani, there is nowhere to go if you are the Mel here, who is super immobile if you don't get the right reflect on the right ability. And there are plenty of ways to burn that. So, I don't know. It's definitely going to be the big target here. It's going to be revisiting Ethereal Ice in the mid lane and trying to get something out of that flashless Mel. Otherwise, just sort of looking around, not a whole lot to say. I'm curious if there's any info in chat in the in-game chat as to what is going on, but I suppose if we don't know when we're gonna get out of applause, we could just start to a quick break. Well, yeah, until we learn more about what's going on, I suppose we'll go to a small break. Well, hopefully not a too long of a break, and we'll be back on the Rift as soon as we can.
All right, welcome back,
back.
everyone. Just had a little bit of an issue with the DC from Florigato, but we're back now. Everything's all good. Just some classic internet issues, you know. Wouldn't be week 1 of Draft League without
Coming for you
a
next.
disconnect.
They're coming for you next.
They're coming for you
Sorry,
next.
unrelated.
Outside
Unrelated.
of this, we're not gonna dwell on that
anyways,
too much.
we're
Yeah,
not
wouldn't
gonna
wouldn't be Draft League without
It just insane things
spectators,
happening.
stream troubles, or disconnects. It's the classic. It's the classic.
Yeah. It's what you expect. At least the teams were kind of on time today. More than usual.
More than
For
usual.
whatever that's worth.
Hey,
Yeah.
and we have a lane gang 2 coming in from.
Yeah, B-Loaf looking for something, but Melee Van and Nightclaw are refusing to interact here, which...
waiting for
I
Fallen,
mean,
but
yeah, okay.
could see a play here.
Oh, yeah, we
Fallen
could see
running in.
walking into their own demise.
Beanloaf going in. A knock up from Nightclaw, not quite gonna hit. A hook from KMZ, but forced to flash out the aftershock going in. Flash forward from Fallen to get a lot of good damage out. Florigato getting some slows. Nightclaw going forward, looking for some extra damage, but Melee Vein, even with the lethal tempo, is not gonna be able to finish anyone off. Ethereal Ice, though, on the roam, looking for something. Florigato forced to back off, looking for a root, getting some good damage, but not quite able to find any kills. A little bit more and they would have been able to get the ult, but unfortunately just a little bit too early in the game, not enough damage, a little bit too late of a rotation. And it will be a dragon for Spartans and a couple of plates for Rutledge.
Yeah, not so bad in the grand scheme of things. I think that was a good in-gale. We do have Boat Chicken.
Boat Chicken, the unstoppable force from Lizzo, but Boat Chicken
health.
has that shield, looking for the stun. Has the ultimate, is he gonna pull him back in? A stun, needs one more auto. Boat Chicken!
Lick 'em and stick 'em, baby!
The
That
Boat
is
Chicken, a solo kill!
Goat Chicken.
That's my Goat Chicken right there.
Everybody clip this, put this in chat, at Lizzo Mukbang. Get onalized by Boat Chicken, the Goat Chicken. Absolutely dominated it on the Rift here, as expected. Yeah, I mean, that is just kind of disrespecting.
That's the Tom Kench experience right there.
Yeah, Thomas is a very dangerous champion. He can just sort of kill you. You have to be careful about that. I mean, the gray health, as always, you kind of just have to worry about that. It was definitely close. It wasn't free, but I feel like Boat Chicken, you know, with the knockups he got, on top of, you know, some decent spacing with the stuns and the autos, just played that fairly well, all things considered, to get that solo kill, which is great for the Spuds as they get one up here. And Lizzo might be getting visited.
Yeah, has the flash, but does not have the unstoppable force. Is gonna have to find a way out, but Boat Chicken still has that ultimate.
Get devoured.
Get devoured. Going in, but the sleep comes out. Lizzo trying to get a little bit more. The damage coming through. Beanlove, just one more auto will do it. And it's gonna be Fallen picking up the kill. Now running down Boat Chicken, who doesn't have a flash, doesn't have a devour. Fallen able to land the snow, looking for a little bit more damage. The shield from Boat Chicken, though, can be able to buy a little bit of time, but it's not gonna be quite enough. And the shutdown for Fallen, picking up 2 kills up there in the top lane. And that is, I'd say that's pretty good, getting your Lilia that far ahead.
Yeah, especially considering you look at the enemy team and you see Giant's Belt, Ruby Crystal, Giant's Belt, on the top side.
That's a whole lot of health.
You're rubbing your hands together, thinking about the % health burn damage you've got on the Lilia. Absolutely gonna be something to watch out here, and especially Fallen being so proficient on this Lilia champion will mean that the Spartans do have a genuine threat this game, as long as Fallen can keep it going. Granted, it is going to be a matter of getting the Lilia moving through all the CC. Lilia is a good champion to do that, because she's very fast, and a lot of the CC that the Spuds have is a little unreliable. Even melee range, Sejuani CC is not entirely reliable. So it's gonna be a little bit tough if this Lilia gets moving to stop Fallen here. So that's definitely a shining spark for the side of the Spartans, but otherwise, Lizzo looking a little rough here in the top lane into the Goat Chicken.
Something I wanted to point out, though, which was really interesting when we saw on the gold graph, is something you see between the mid laners, and the reason why those hiring mid laners, those better mid laners, you can see just how crazy it is through just the plates and the micro advantages and the small little bit. Rutledge has a 1k gold lead. No kills, no anything. Just plates and farm and macro right there. And that's the entire Spuds gold lead right there.
Yeah, it is. You can see just the difference here. Like, not knocking Ethereal Ice, very formidable mid laner in her own, but man, just does not match up against some of these higher caliber, and I guess surprisingly higher calibers, and considering Rutledge came in here as a top laner, getting swapped into mid. You know, say what you will about that. You know, so is what it is here in the draft league. You are able to do that. It is not against the rules necessarily. So yeah, just getting a pretty significant advantage here just in terms of individual mechanical performance. Granted, gold leads aren't everything, and they're very good, but you can still work around it. There are still ways to kind of keep the Sinivia down, or to, you know, Mel has some big stupid buttons she can utilize to kind of make up the difference. So while it is certainly impressive and very commendable that Rutledge is able to do this, it's not the whole story. So, yeah, anyways, that aside, Fallen gonna be kind of discovered here in the jungle, clearing out some vision as both of our teams here kind of sitting around. Spuds did get the first blood, so they have that one feat, and they actually are getting pretty close to getting a turret in mid if they decide to go for that as their feats of strength win condition. Grubbins gets started, and we'll see what Beanloaf decides to respond with. Looks like nothing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give over that second round of grubs. So objective trade's relatively even, but after this, if all three grubs are grabbed, it will be a slight advantage, a 1 objective advantage to be exact, for the Spartans, although with the dragon being taken now, we'll see if they're able to rotate on it. It doesn't look like it. Looks like they're just going to trade the 1 for 1, and no teams with any feeds secured just yet. It's both teams 1 kill away from elimination, 1 objective away from the objective feeds, and no one's picked up first tower yet.
Yeah, it's no first tower yet. So, yeah, we're 2 for 2 on the neutral objectives here. 1 Drake and 1 round of Grubbins for both teams. But I do think that looking at towers, Spuds definitely have the advantages. Boat Chicken's in a bit of danger.
Yeah, could get left here, but has a big shield that he can work.
Gonna
throw Fallen right back into the tower, and Fallen forced to flash out. Finally popping the drowsy now. The shield goes out. Nice sleep there. So looking for
good heal.
A nice flash from Boat Chicken, but it's going to be Fallen using that sweet spot on the Q to get damage off and claiming the feat of warfare, picking up the kill onto Goat Chicken. Unfortunately, couldn't outplay that one.
Yeah, huge move there from the side of Fallen. Boat Chicken, I think, played that about as well as you could have. Staying in to go for that sneaky little devour might have been sort of the death sentence. Could have potentially gotten out of there without losing that much more health, but decides to go for, okay, I will burn a flash here, or I will get a kill if Fallen is unprepared. Does end up burning the flash off of Fallen, but in the end, it does allow for a dive. Took just a little bit too much damage, even with the gray health. The gray health shield, getting that healing back off the tongue lash, it just was not enough. Very commendable from Boat Chicken trying to live there, but you know, it is what it is. Another kill goes over to Fallen. That is another big pickup here into this meatball heavy composition as Florigato just gets punished.
Whoa, stepping way too far up there. Melee Bane going in needs a little bit more feathers, and there's a Feather Storm to pull it back out. Real Beanloaf now going in, but it might have stepped a bit too far forward. Nice Blade Caller coming back. Beanloaf gonna be able to take the charge right on out of there. Florigato walking way too far up there. Going for some autos, but was just not respecting the knockups and the roots.
Yeah, no, again, that was a little funky. I feel like Florigato definitely sort of didn't expect that to happen. You know, these things happen. You know, you misplay a little bit sometimes. Oh, gotta fight.
Bo Chicken versus Lizzo Mukbang. Who's gonna win? Bo Chicken throws him out with the devour. Needs a little bit more,
he doesn't have a
shielding,
health.
a little bit of something, an
health.
auto and a
No, not
stun, but
enough
it's not gonna be
healing.
enough. Lizzo Mukbang, thanks
clip
to the
this.
what is that? The Hollowed Radiant. Still getting some of the new items. The Hollowed Radiance getting that extra MR, getting a ton of burn, and because he fought in that minion wave, you got all those extra minion explosions to just do so much damage to Boat Chicken.
Yeah, the Hollow Radiant Garden will be enough to take out the Boat Chicken here, as Beanloaf will try and stop this tower from being taken. Beanloaf will now kind of be the target here, as Lizzo was taken down, but at what cost? KMZ gonna try and make that cost free, but Fallen's gonna get hooked up. No follow-up.
Nice slow there. Play out. Beanloaf gonna be safe there. And yeah, just overall looking a lot better for the Spartans this game. Nowhere near over, right? This game is still extremely close, and you can see Florigato still bullying Melee Bane in the bot lane. Does have the ultimate. Melee Bane without Featherstorm has to be very careful. Needs to buy just a little bit of time to get that ultimate back, and Florigato not quite able to finish off the Xayah. Now that you do have that that Bladestorm back, it's going to be a lot better. Also, because that tower got picked up in the top side, it does mean that Spartans have already picked up feats of strength. So even without this Herald, they already have it. But wouldn't be bad to get it. You know, definitely would be a very nice addition to their pockets. Meanwhile, Florigato picking up the first tower for the Spuds in the bot side.
Yeah, Spuds looking a little rotten in this game. You know, rotten potatoes, those are bad. They release noxious gas, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that one. You know, make sure to properly ventilate the space. As Fallen is doing great this game, Melee Vayne holding their own a lot better. We do have an engage.
Yeah, you realize has to be careful. Blocking out a lot of damage, but just caught out a little bit too far forward. Now Florigato getting the root down onto 2. Beanloaf looking for a little bit more. Nice Featherstorm there from Melee Bane. They're not going to be able to land the root onto anyone. Nice zoning ultimate from Rutledge, getting a lot of damage. And those E's are starting to chunk.
Yeah, those Frostbite, a big crit procs. Just really strong off of Rutledge here. Has both the Seraph's almost, yep, there it is, now completed the Seraph's Embrace, plus the Roa currently at 6 of 10 stacks. This Anivia is good. The classic Anivia build here. A build as old as League of Legends itself, perhaps. The Archangels plus Roa Anivia build. And it is looking very dangerous here. This Anivia is going to be hard to take down, and that's really... It's both good and bad. It's good for the Spuds because it gives one of their carries a lot of survivability, extra survivability. However, all that HP, you know, if I'm Lilia, I'm 3-0. I'm still rubbing my hands together, thinking to myself, I just need one good team fight, and I can absolutely shred through everyone in this game. And especially Fallen, I think, is doing a great job knowing that they have this lead and just sort of Roombaing it up, forcing Beanloaf to try, and rather than getting you know, these jungle camps, trying to get this deficit back by making plays happen. And these plays have not been as advantageous for the Spuds. So while Fallen is still sitting and maybe not having done that much in the past 5 minutes or so, has been doing a lot around the map, sort of forcing Beanloaf into a lose-lose situation, which is unfortunate. We'll have to see what Beanloaf can kind of do with the camps left and opportunities on the map to try and make up that difference of, I guess it is still, at least it's Sejuani. So a Sejuani at a deficit, you know, as long as you hit the right levels for your ultimate, I think you're fine. But something to keep an eye on as this game develops here, especially as we get to our next. So, KMZ.
Has to be careful. Probably caught out, though. Gonna try and flash over the wall, but Drowsy coming out Nice little hook there, but it's not going to be enough. Florigato looking for some extra damage, though. Charmed back in. Beanloaf here to try and help him out. Has a lot of chakram stacked, but Melee Vein just does so much damage. Trying to cut through, trying to do a little bit more, but now Rutledge has finally joined the fight. Fallen has to be careful. Florigato looking back in. He gets slowed.
No,
Fallen
he gets
looking for it, but
Fallen,
fails the flash in. Not like this. A nice recall from Melee Vein, though. Going to be able to get the shutdown onto Beanloaf. Florigato just trying to bait in further and further and further, but the Unstoppable Force goes over the wall and pulls Rutledge. A beautiful cutoff, though, from Rutledge. Can stop the carries from chasing him down any further, and it's just going to be a 1-4-1.
Yeah, gutter ball there from Fallen as the flash does get burned to dodge that one out. Fallen looking a little precarious there, so close off of that flat. Ooh, delicious. Nom 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 nom. Delicious. Fish stew. Tasty. Yeah, great movement there from Fallen. Just the slight misfire off of the flash Q. I think it was Q'd a little too soon. So the flash did not carry the Q damage with it. And as a result, wasn't able to get that tag onto Florigato. The movement was there. The play was all there. Just minor misexecution, but it didn't amount to any real punish, as the Spartans still able to get another kill into Melee Vein, another kill into Fallen, and these two big damage dealers are looking very solid this game. Mel gonna be taking a bit of a support role. It's a good thing this is a support mage, AD carry, jungler, bruiser, wizard, warlock, etc. and so on. Does everything champion. So, you know, even if the Mel's a little bit far behind, still has her big stupid buttons, which she can use to make things happen. Currently looking to make things happen around the looking like the Spartans are actually it's Spuds sitting on top side as Harold's going for a walk here into this mid lane turret. Melee Vein gonna be helping that one out as we could see a potential pinch around top. Fallen looking for a bowling ball. Atacon's up here. Rutledge is a little slow on the play, but we'll get a pinch.
Yep. Now on the Otacon, both teams posturing. Rutledge on a nice little flank there, but might be caught all alone in the back line. Lands some good damage, but now finally joined up with the rest of the back line. Ethereal Ice being the one that's actually cut off. Lots of damage coming through, but nobody down yet. Finally, Fallen manages to pick up the kill. Lizzo went in with that Unstoppable Force, but couldn't find anyone else. The shield's coming through. Root now down. Goes in and just a little bit too deep. Tons of damage coming out from Florigato, but not going to be able to finish it off. A nice blade caller on the back line. Going to give Melee Vein an extra kill. Now Fallen picking up an extra 2. Will he go down to the burn? No, he won't. Nice 1v2 double kill over there. And they have to be careful not to go down to the Otacon. It is very strong. It is the Voracious Otacon once again, but with a massive fight win that completely blows the game open. It's going to be Spartans in total control of this game now.
Yeah, Spartans in total control. I'm sweating a little bit here. We're trying to beat this raid boss. It goes down. Good aggro juggling there from the Spartans. We beat the like level 1 Final Fantasy 14 dungeon. We successfully cleared Sauce Tasha, and now we have the Voracious Atacon buff on us. And Fallen looking like an absolute monster here, but I gotta say, I really gotta commend Ethereal Ice's positioning in that fight. It wasn't amazing, but the angle that she had just allowed her to apply so much extra pressure and sort of split the Spuds up, which gave an opportunity for Lizard to go on the back line, keep them locked up, and they were able to sort of go one by one as the fight starts.
Yep. Now withdraw coming through. Nightclaw has to be careful. Next one on the block. It's going to be another one picked up for Rutledge. Puts down a really nice blizzard zone. And it's going to be Boat Chicken eating up the bird. Cooking some chicken over there. Ethereal Ice trying to fire back a little bit of extra damage. Use the flash, but
why?
I feel like you're already dead at this point. I think you just eat the withdraw. Lizzo Mukbang now going down, gonna be withdrawn as well. Rutledge picking up the extra 200, and despite not getting any of these shutdowns, still looking pretty good, getting a big gold injection. Ethereal Ice has to be careful. Does manage to make it out alive, but I still wonder if it's worth it. Has to be careful though. Beanloaf slowed up by Fallen, who's now coming back. Gotta remember those res timers are big.
Chicken, what are you doing?
Goes back in, not able to land the knockup. and my goat might be cooked. I don't know.
Yeah, look, it going right into that gyro, as it were.
It was looking good too. That was a good looking fight, and then just a little bit of an overextension there. Too much greed to try and find Ethereal Ice.
Yeah, they really greeded, and unfortunately, even if they got Ethereal Ice, it would have just been a withdrawal. So I feel like so much wasted. The fight before that was honestly pretty solid. You got out a lot of these withdraws without really expending much in the way of resources. So that was honestly a very big upside for the Spuds, especially because they did take that second Ocean Drake and are now on Soul Point. But the fact that they went a little bit further and tried to, you know, go a little bit deeper into the cookie jar, and unfortunately, their hand gets snapped off. It turns out there was a snap trap in there, and now they get absolutely punished for it. I don't know. And that re-engage from Boat Chicken there, that's what I expect to see from him. You know, it's baffling, but his mind is working on a different plane of existence than the rest of us. So you gotta understand, he probably saw a different timeline that play ended up more successful. It was just a miscalculation. We'll get him next time. He didn't die, he withdrew. Either way, the Baron is up. You have about 230, give or take 10 seconds, on the next Drake. And I imagine our teams here gotta be considering how risky taking that Baron is. Without the Atacon revives in pocket, it's a bit hard for the Spartans to really get a play. Fortunately, they do have some good playmaking buttons. They have the Recon engage, they have the Unstoppable Force, and Fallen can always follow that up. Also has the flash to be able to do that. So plenty of great opportunities for the Spartans to find a play, but they just need to the Spuds need to step up and sort of give them that opportunity, because otherwise we're just going to be sitting in this waiting room until the next fight around whatever objective we think is the most advantageous, which honestly, looking at the state of the game now, might be this next Drake.
Yeah, and it's going to be a massive fight, right? Because the Spuds, if they're able to pick this up, that's the Ocean Soul. That's going to be a massive win condition for them. Suddenly, that gold lead doesn't look so impactful anymore. Flash forward from KMZ, going to force the flash out of Fall, and unfortunately not going to be able to land the hook. But getting that Lilia flash down a minute and 30 before drag is absolutely massive.
Yeah, you know, I gotta say something. Looking at this Mel stun, man, you know how slow a Nivea Q is. Why do we exist? Just to suffer? Why is Mel's route so fast? Why? Why is it like this? Can you not pop it early? Is that the gimmick?
Perhaps? Question mark?
I really should play this champion to figure it out, but instead I'm gonna complain about it, because that's a lot easier. Nightclaw in a bit of a precarious situation. Gotta say, with this Ocean Drake coming up, unfortunately the Spartans are gonna have to try and fight it, and their vision is horrendous. They have 2 players up on top side, and looks like Fallen's not gonna be down here near this Drake anytime soon. Fallen, you got 20 seconds, bud. Yeah, gotta move on. Hello.
15 seconds on the clock now. Ethereal Ice chilling a Baron. Lizzo's finally joining up with the rest of the team. You can see Rutledge and Boat Chicken holding hands, clearing the wave. Definitely just want to make sure that they're not getting caught. Florgato has to be careful, dodging out on the route. Just going to clear up the rest of this. Nightclub goes in for a knockup, but stunned, taking so much damage. Nice Drowsy on the back line, though. Rutledge has to be very careful. Florgato on the backside. Nightclub going to get taken out by Boat Chicken. A flash forward for Florgato. Going to force Melee Vein into the Featherstorm. Now on the main side of the fight. Fallen forced out. The Glacial Prison comes down. A lot of damage going in, and Fallen becomes legendary. But Melee Vein is forced out of the fight. Well, all that was happening, Lizzo Mukbang finally goes into the Unstoppable Force, but a beautiful hook from KMZ, gonna keep him off. So much damage coming out. The big ultimate from Ethereal Ice, gonna bring so much damage in. Fallen gonna be able to pick up the rest. 2 kills, 1 more going back down. Make it a triple. Huge ultimate from Ethereal Ice. gonna be able to pick all of that up. A nice ace there picked up for the Spartans. Gonna be able to stop that dragon stacking, pick one up for themselves. And the Spuds, what was looking like a good fight, what was looking like they had finally won, turned to tears from a massive malplay, and Fallen just pumping out so much damage. 25 stacks on the Magi's, 4 full items if you count it.
Yes.
10-0 on the Lilia, and it is looking nigh impossible for the Spuds at this point.
Yeah, that was a strike there from Fallen. The bowling ball plus the Mel root and ulti was so lethally powerful here. Gotta commend Lizzo holding that unstoppable force for as long as possible, waiting for an angle to go for Florigato. And I gotta say, Florigato kind of misplayed a little bit there, going super hard onto melee Vayne without any backup. It makes sense because the rest of your team is kind of engaged on another side of the fight, but now you have the entire enemy team between you and your allies. So even after getting that kill, Florigato was dead to rights. There was just really not a whole lot they could do, and it got punished. This Lilia is so powerful. Fallen is able to get so much out of these super tanky members of the Spuds. You know, these 3 tanks and the Anivia, who's got quite a bit of HP herself. It's just a field day if you are this Lilia in this game. And Fallen making the most of that lead. Now Flame Horizoned the real Beanloaf on the other side of the map. I know what it's like, buddy. I've been the tank jungler in this situation. It's not fun. But you gotta start picking your fights better. And I think you just have to stick around Florigato. You kind of have to move as 5. Your comp is a death ball. You're supposed to move as 5. You can't really afford to separate one of your players. And it's tough because you're playing as a death ball into Lilia and Malphite, who also want you to do that, to win. So it's really hard for the Spuds here, I think, especially at the deficit they're in, to flip this back around. I don't think it's impossible. I think that Anivia is such a great champion, has so many good tools that is capable in a good fight of turning it. And I think that we've seen what this Aphelios can do in terms of damage. And once we get that IE down onto the Aphelios, we could see some big damage. But we're kind of seeing what happens when you run a 2-threat composition and one or both of your threats are not as accelerated as they could be. You just lack the DPS as opposed to your opponents.
Yeah. And something really important to note, right? All the damage coming through is great. All Spuds need is 1 dragon, right? Because of how much of this team comp relies on burn, on feathers, on slow damage over and over and over again, all it takes is, that Ocean Soul, and suddenly that's a lot less threatening. As I say that, though, Fallen just finds Rutledge on their own Krugs and takes him out. Has to be careful, though. Lizzo Mukbang caught into the Devour. Boat Chicken goes down to melee Vayne, though. Florigato going to be able to pick up a return kill. Has to be careful, though. Fallen on the flank. Looking for it. Gets a bowling ball. Has to be careful. Florigato, it's almost jumped on. A nice hook from KMZ, but Fallen flashes the tower shot. Still alive. Still flawless in the game. Has not died yet. Doesn't want to start now.
Oh dear, as it were. Oh dear.
Oh
yeah.
dear?
Oh dear. That's why I get paid nothing, folks.
That's why we get paid the big bucks.
That's why I get paid the big McChicken money right here. Rutledge getting caught on the side there is pretty much a death sentence for the side of the Spuds, because without Rutledge, they just do not have any wave clear. Florigato, Aphelios can wave clear with the right guns, but it's not great, and it is very short range to do that, so yeah, they lose their ability to stop a siege, and once that siege is laid bare, it is just easy to crack the turret and go in on the Spuds members still remaining. And Fallen was able to just sort of prance back there, get a good angle, land a bunch more damage. And now we have 12-0-8 on Fallen, but also 6-0-5 on Melee Vayne here. 4 items on the Xayah. We're getting to a point where even if you all do manage to full lockdown Fallen, you can get shredded by Melee Vayne. And it's going to be really tough for this team to contend with that. As Beanloaf, still only level 15 here on the Sejuani. A little anemic on this poor old tank jungler as Fallen, just looking to abuse the enemy here. Picking up whatever camps are available, scrounging all the gold on the Rift here. We are currently at a little bit under, I think it's like a 7.5k gold lead in favor of the Spartans. Drake's now even, but neither objective up for another 4 minutes and 20 seconds. The Baron gonna run out pretty soon. So we'll have to keep that in mind for this team. They do look to continue sieging with it while they have it. Oh, flash? Yeah, not much.
Doesn't really have to worry about anything right now, right? You can just keep sieging, keep chilling it out. You're 1 dragon away from Soul. You got Baron up in 4 minutes. There's not really reason to rush things right now.
Yeah, no need to rush. I think that you just accept it as a Florigato gonna get. Oh no, that is the worst to tie. That's the worst thing you could have seen on the screen if you're on the Spartans. We do have Rutledge gonna be going forward. KMZ stepping up, doesn't hit the flay. Beanloaf taking a lot of damage here. Hook is gonna go down, gonna lock up Nightclaw.
Nightclaw goes down. Real Beanloaf getting burned down by Ethereal Ice, but manages to make it out. Only going to be a 2 for 0 so far, but the big shutdown is absolutely massive, and that's the biggest part of that, right? Being able to get that shutdown onto Fallen, being able to get that massive gold injection into your team, it's going to make things a lot better. Now, Lizzo has to be careful about Boat Chicken, more so about getting collapsed on by his team.
Yeah, I think at this point the tanks are, they're not going to kill each other, ever. It's going to be Entropy that kills them first. But meanwhile, you know, Fallen trying to get a tax write-off here. Tax season is coming up by giving a generous donation to the charity case that is Florigato this game. And that is kind of disastrous because Florigato is now on 4 items. And with that extra shield from the Maw of the Malmortius, will be less fragile to some of these stray attacks from Ethereal Ice, or especially from Fallen here. A stray bowling ball is going to be a lot less lethal unless Fallen has ulti. So Florigato is going to be a little bit harder to kill and has a better chance of pumping out that hard DPS that the team really needs here. Because I think that the front line of the Spuds is assembled fine, but they just are kind of having trouble locking down Fallen, who is able to go absolutely cuckoo bananas crazy onto the entirety of the Spuds. If they can lock down Fallen, I think they have the resistances to not die immediately to Melee Vayne and Ethereal Ice, and that gives Florigato and Rutledge an opportunity to make something happen. But this is, you know, maybe imaginary fantasy land here that we're talking about, off of a singular 1,000 gold shutdown, as the gold lead is nearing 10,000 in favor of the Spartans, as Goat Chicken is okay. That's that's fine. Could have interrupted that, but you know, yeah, let him off with a little warning, a little slap on the wrist. Don't come around here again, buddy. We'll hit our knockup this next time. Anyways, sort of just looking around here on the Rift. 40 seconds on the Baron, 40 seconds on the Drake, as kind of just waiting for an opportunity for a fight. Rutledge on top side, looking to recall as the Spartans are going to back off for the strike. This is going to be Soul for them if they do pick it up. And Vision is rock solid for the Spartans here. They have the entirety of the jungle down here lit up like a Christmas tree. And we do have the death ball. If the Spuds walk in as 5 gamers, they don't need to worry about Vision. Everybody knows where they are. So we'll have to see if that makes a difference here. Pause to see if my co-caster is here. I think there might be some connection issue. Because I am not hearing you, Reigns. Just for the record. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Alright, I'm going to keep going. The Drake is getting started here. Beanloaf taking a bit of punishment. The zoning coming out. We do have the wall going down. Boat Chicken going to get knocked up, but a lot of damage going in on the Nightclaw. The Redemption going to get fired pretty early into this fight. Not negating a whole lot of damage as we do have the Unstoppable Force. We're going to land in onto the back line as those 2 carries are going to get absolutely targeted. They're actually going to get to dip out. The wall will go down as we do have Fallen going to be trying to get as much damage as possible. Going to look at, okay, we're going to get a slam onto Rutledge. 1 down from the spinning goat.
He's trying, but he's not going to be able to do it. Finally going to get the clean ace there taken out. Not clean. What is that? Yeah, Claw went down to the back side. It's getting late, but you know what? Really nice plays. Flawless game from Melee Vayne if they're able to finish it off right here. Fallen going absolutely crazy for it, right? Like, it just felt like this entire game was the Fallen show. Even with, don't get me wrong, Melee Vayne played out of his mind this game, but it still feels like the Fallen show. Fallen just doing so much on that Lilia, and is going to bring us and the Spartans to a game 3.
Yeah, game 3, kind of unexpected. Huge pop-off performance from Fallen. Getting those 2 early kills, I think we said that that's very good for Fallen. Could make the most of it, and absolutely did. Ran away with the game. This is the Fallen you like to see. This is the Fallen that's dirty and greasy, not the absolutely washed dishes in the dishwasher. These are the dishes that are coated in 3-week-old pasta sauce. This man is absolutely filthy on the Rift right now, at least as the Lilia. Yeah, just a huge performance, I think, from honestly everyone on the Spartans. Really turned it up this game, as, you know, Lizzo, despite, you know, getting absolutely 1v1 destroyed by the Goat Chicken in the early phases of the game, turned it back around, had some really great ultis, have found some good angles, was smart with using that front lining. Nightclaw, a bit iffy here and there, but still did their job, and that just allowed for these carries who, even if they had a little bit of a slower start, like Ethereal Ice, to just use their big stupid buttons to completely control the game off the back of Fallen, who just dominated the Rift. Meanwhile, on the side of the Spuds, things could look better. I think they were starting to slowly turn it back around as the game went on. They had that huge shutdown on the Fallen, which was great for Florigato, but otherwise it was just, once they started falling behind, their comp was not really assembled to handle the Lilia. And I don't know, I feel like I definitely I misjudged the composition in terms of, do they have the ability to lock people down? They did, but Lilia is one of those champions that I said kind of earlier on that has the ability to sort of play around the CC because none of it's reliable. There's no real hard CC. The best you have is you hope Sejuani gets stacks and you can click your button to turn her into an ice cube. But if you're not hitting any buttons, you can't do that. So it just felt very easy for Fallen to do this. I think that, you know, with the Anivia wall and the ultis, there's so much to have to play around, and in the end, I feel like Fallen just got the better of them. As I open the discussion window. I feel like I'm in the classroom right now. You know, I ask a question and it's like, and what do you think? What do you think, class? And then I sit here in silence for 4 seconds. With that said, we're gonna figure out what's going on with Reigns, but we're gonna be back in on game 3 here between the Spuds and the Spartans in just a hot second. So stick around. Draft coming at you after the break.
Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go! Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Come on, everybody, bring it in. Let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go. Let's go, let's move, side to side, let's go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game 3 of our first week here in the Blue Otter Draft League Ruby Division. Spuds and Spartans bringing us all the way, kind of shockingly after Game 1. You kind of expected from that dominant performance that the Spuds would do better, but unfortunately, they just sort of flamed out a little bit, got run over by the Prince and Dancin' Lilia. And in the end, just sort of fell apart. Their team was not equipped to handle such a dominant force on the Rift. But now going into Game 3, the Lilia is gone. A ton of these champions that are super proficient are gone off the map. things like the Mel that are good for both teams, things like the Anivia that was going to get banned away in game 1 are now out of the picture. So our two teams here are going to have to get maybe a bit more creative, although there are still a lot of good options available going into this third game. But we might see some interesting choices throughout the night. We've already seen some interesting choices in other games. We saw a Mr. Yi show up in another match. I think it was was it a Dragons game? I'll have to double check where the Mr. Yi was. But in any case, we do have the first pick, Tristana. Kind of an interesting choice.
Something that you never expect to see without, like, it's just not something that you expect to see without going through Fearless, right? It's just these new crazy picks coming out. First pick, Tristana. You got the Corky coming through. Just so much happening now. But it is going to be the Lovers Duo banned out. It is going to be the Big Fallen Champion banned out for him. And with Mel also grayed out, means you don't have to waste as much, but still has to be careful. Still has to keep that power from mid lane in mind.
Yeah, still trying to keep that power in mind as, yes, now we're gaming. Now we are video gaming here. Maokai has been locked in. And that is, at this point, I think you could swing it as a flex pick between jungle and support. The Kayn is available. That is a big fallen champion.
Yep.
I really don't like blinding it, though. I feel like this early in the draft, there's plenty of opportunity for the Spuds to respond to.
Okay, it's going to be
some
the
big buffs.
Evelyn.
She got some pretty decent buffs. So,
She did.
this is another big Fallen champion. The first season we saw Fallen, one of the things that kept getting banned away was this Evelyn, and now we're seeing it return here. Very exciting, and the Renata Gloss, kind of an interesting choice, given the current circumstances, but does have big, stupid buttons. That is, I think, a better choice.
Yeah, definitely. I like it. I like a lot of the engage here. I think the Evelyn's a very interesting choice, and I want to see how Spuds end up responding to this.
Yeah, I'm curious here. Alistar is not a flawless champion, but I think Into the Maokai is honestly pretty decent because Maokai's engage you can very easily respond to just by slamming the ground.
And Thrush is banned out as well, don't forget.
Yeah, and we do have a Vel'Koz.
I wonder if
picked
that's
up
Vel'Koz
here.
support or if that's going to be Vel'Koz mid.
I'm definitely curious.
Because Corky is more of a bot laner now, right? So
Yeah, generally speaking. Some people still play him mid because they don't want to win, but he is definitely a bot laner in games where he actually does well. So I do think that this will be the Corky 80 carry, which means that I don't like Vel'Koz paired with Corky. I guess it's fine. You're both kind of just brutalizing the poor old cow. I guess we didn't consider. Wait. Oh, I didn't consider that the Molly revealing information. Ethereal Ice does play the Evelyn mid lane, so I don't think it's gonna
about
happen.
that. I knew we
Nope.
had one game on it last season, but
it's Ethereal Ice and Happier Cat both play Evelyn mid. So,
right.
could see it. I don't think we will. I don't think anybody's coked up that much, but it would be very
Reflect.
funny.
Have to see.
Otherwise, though, just some top lane bans going down. The Cassante and the Ornn taken out. KMZ on the Janna pick. Played that a lot last split too.
That's pretty much-
KMZ loses a game, goes back to Enchanters.
I will say it's pretty much guaranteed that that's a Corky bot lane now, just because of how much he interacts with that hard AD. Janna, very well known, good pairing for him.
It's fake.
It's fake, right? Like
It's
we're
fake.
being lied to. I feel like.
There's no way it's real. Like, where do you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, where do you send Alistar? It's not real. This is not gonna happen. Again, wake up, Grandpa. At Jungle, Alistar is not real. Hasn't been.
No, but if we get that,
centuries.
We get the Hui bot lane. We get the Tristana top lane. Nope, but we might get something almost
That's fake.
adjacent. Are you sure? I'm
It's
pretty sure
gotta
Lizzo
be
plays
fake.
Quinn.
Nah, Lizzo doesn't got the gumption, doesn't got the
He's got the
cojones to
gumption.
do it.
Nah, you're right. It's gonna be the Volibear instead. Still
Yeah,
a pretty good team. I like how it turns out.
Yeah, you know, making good choices rather than funny choices, I think, is the right thing to do. We do see the Volibear get picked up. Great top lane champion. Very good at checking some of these. Just a lot of different top laners. The stats that Volibear brings are very tough to deal with. And I don't know if there's really anything in Boat Chicken's pool that can contest it. That I can't say I know how it does in the
Bessa,
Volibear.
though. Gonna try and ego it instead.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get another top lane 1v1 brawl between Lizzo Mukbang and the Goat Chicken, which is absolutely what you want to see. Yeah, with these two compositions finished out, both of them, well, they've both got a little bit of secret sauce. Honestly,
Yeah.
kind of not too unusual on either side, but also nothing that really stands out to me as like a clear direction for either team.
Well, I mean, I think Spartans have a pretty clear engage comp, right? Like, they want to pick people off, but they also have a lot of hard engage, right? Like, this is a really solid, like, pick/team fight comp. Spuds are a bit more interesting. They really want to play a lot of that range. They want to play for those missiles. They want to play for the Vel'Koz poke. And then they want to use things like the Maokai, like the Mbessa, to really all in once they have a lot of that damage already down.
Yeah.
It's
Looking
a bit
to-
weird. Both are definitely interesting. I think, but this is the kind of stuff you see when you're going
Yeah.
into right like game 3 flawless, fearless.
Fearless.
And it's what I liked. Fearless.
What are you?
I think it's interesting.
What are you feeling in terms of which team you think has the
I think
has
if
this
they-
one?
If Fallen even plays half of what he did last game, I think Spartans take this one pretty easily. But
Alright, so
I think it's really on Fallen to keep it up and really keep all that priority up, that pressure that he was exerting on Spuds from last game. Because if you let Rutledge get ahead on this Vel'Koz with all this crazy true damage, I guarantee you, Spartans are gonna feel like the game is unplayable.
So would you say that you're leaning more Spartans?
I'd say in general, I think they have a comp that's a bit easier to execute.
All right. Well, I'm sticking with the Spuds. I'm sticking with Goat Chicken. I believe. I never doubted him. And this means that one of us can finally be wrong tonight.
Well, look,
as
I
separate
had
from the other
the two
person.
on Spartans. You know, nobody believed, but I believe. I believe.
Yeah, this is true. I believed in the Spuds, like most other people did, and perhaps will be punished for it as a result. With that said, we're gonna go to a quick break for the spectator delay. When we come back, we'll be in on the riff for our closer here, this game 3 of our first week of the Ruby Division. Stick around, action coming at you in just a few minutes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back into Game 3, our final game of the night of the Spartans versus Spuds. Fearless showing us the fun things, showing us why we love it with all these cool little pocket picks that we wouldn't normally get to see, and other draft news. I am proud to announce that Eagles have started off the series with a win, baby. They've started off the season. The Eagles won 2-0. They are now officially 1-0 at the start of the season.
Yeah,
This is
it's all,
uncharted territory, folks.
yeah, as the one person who believed in the Eagles, had the prayer circle going the entire time, the magic is real. Speaking of real, we have two teams that honestly, it felt like after game one, this is going to be a quick close here. But the Spartans really turned it around last game. Fallen in particular had a dominant performance on an AP carry jungler. And now this game, we've got Fallen on the Evelyn, an old trademark of him as a player. But we'll have to see if the results can be matched. We'll have vision, and actually they will find Fallen here. So
Yep.
they'll know where the Evelyn is, and that can be super important, especially to Evelyn is a champion that if you don't see her on her camps, you're never gonna see her. So
Yeah.
just getting the knowledge that, okay, she's going to be clearing from top to bot is going to be huge for the side of the Spuds to better neutralize this Evelyn pick. Because honestly, while she can sort of play the more power farming style, she does not want to. She wants to actually go in, use her burst, get kills, but, you know, it's harder for her to do that if everybody knows where she is. So we'll see if that sort of changes how the game is played out here. Real Beanloaf starting on the top side, going to be clearing towards bot, taking kind of an unusual path. Decided to start the Raptors, which
Potentially for a level 3 gang top, right? I mean, you could see
that.
Liz was already pushing in. Yeah, we're wrapping
Ooh, yeah, that's
around.
the plan.
Lizzo has to be careful. Boat Chicken ready, knows it's
Ooh,
coming. And
Lizzo.
Lizzo goes in with the stun, doesn't have the Q anymore. Real Beanloaf landing the slow, looking for some damage. Nice root there. Boat Chicken looking for the spells. Lizzo has to be
Oh,
careful.
Lizzo.
Tried to flash,
no
get
way,
the heal
Lizzo.
off, but it's not going to be enough. And Boat Chicken picks up first blood.
Yeah, Lizzo decides to walk, sees the sapling thrown, walks into the bush anyways, and gets slowed and punished out there. Great gank from Beanloaf. Sort of exploiting Lizzo's tendency to play up, play aggressive, especially on this Volibear champion, who should be able to kind of stat check Ambessa earlier in the game. And yeah, great stuff. That early jungle pathing pays dividends for Beanloaf and Boat Chicken, as now with a slight lead, this Ambessa could look to start making some serious pain happen on the top side of the map. Carry Boat Chicken game was not in the cards, but perhaps we need to, you know, shuffle the deck a little bit to see what the truth may hold. The truth chicken, as it were, as a Rutledge could be in danger.
Let's be careful. Fallen looking for an early gank. Flash forward from Fallen. Gonna force the flash out of Rutledge.
Yeah, trade of flash for flash. Some damage firing onto Fallen there, but we'll just go ahead and pick up that Scuttler. Fallen getting as much as possible. Trying to trade back. Oh, melee bait super low.
Has to be careful, and this is the power of this early Janna. Just so much poke, so much bullying, and then you have the Quirky. You can just jump in with that W, put out so much damage, and Melee Vein forced to back off. Nightclaw stuck under tower as well. And this is something we talked about last game, right? Is Melee Vein actually finished the game flawless, right? Did no deaths, played extremely well, and you know, with even though a little bit of bullying going on, probably wants the same thing to happen this game, right? Is playing very safe, is being careful, really knows the limits of this champion.
Yeah, but you know, there is a line between safety and non-interaction, and I feel like on Tristana you do want to take a few risks here and there when you can. Granted, I don't necessarily know what got them so low. It likely was just a combination of Corky being able to pump out so much damage so quickly in combination with the shields and slows from Janna that make the poke so threatening. Boat Chicken getting a vision ward on the top side of the map. We'll have some slightly better idea of whether or not they're going to get ganked, as looks like Beanloaf's going to set up for a lane gank here, potentially. I don't think... Yeah, they're not going to be spotted. Boat Chicken going to try and lure Lizzo in here. Will Lizzo take the bait? Oh, you know he is.
No, he is, but without any flash, can get knocked right back in. Boat Chicken needs a little bit more damage, a couple more spells, but not quite going to be able to finish him off. Lizzo walking back under tower, without any mana, isn't going to be able to fight back or take a kill. Just going to have to walk out and save himself.
Yeah, maybe could have, if Boat had committed a little bit harder there, there's a chance you get Lizzo, but I think, you know, taking the safer play, not going too far, not going too hard, because Volibear can flip fights on its head when given the chances. We do have a fight down here.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming out to Florigato now. A nice knock-up from Nightclaw. Melee Vein very, very low, but it's going to be Fallen coming in, trying to pick up the kill.
Shield!
Florigato being very careful. AMZ going to try and make it out alive, and what should have been a double kill, it's actually just going to be a 1-up for Florigato, and they're going to give that kill over to Melee Vein. And while it sucks to have to give that kill over to the Tristana, it's a lot better than giving it over to the Evelyn.
Yeah, I think that of your options, like, definitely you don't want to give it over to your lane partner, but Evelyn can more easily move that gold lead or that extra gold around the map.
Also, the Alcove Gaming, like, that probably is the best that play could have gone for the Spuds bot lane. Rutledge caught out a little bit. A nice unending despair goes in, and Nightclaw actually ends up being the one to pick up the kill. Sorry, Spiraling Despair, not unending despair. That is the TFT. No. Nice Spiraling Despair from the Aerial Ice, and, you know, again, you wish that would have gone on one of the carries. You know, not the worst, but
the fight continues.
Fallen has to be careful. Has the ult to get out, but it's gonna try and walk it out instead. Was not respecting the all-in from Beanloaf, who just flashes to get that root and manages to take it out. Now, without any smite, should be a very, very easy secure for the Spuds. Getting 2 of those objectives. Okay. That was a little close.
Yeah, you know, we take those. It's all right.
We take it in the end. One kill. Again, we're, you know, both teams again at 2-2, 1 kill away from the feat of warfare. 2 objectives now for the Spuds, 0 for the Spartans. So it's definitely the Spuds looking to try and pick up the early feats.
Yeah, they have they do have the golden opportunity here to get those early feats. Fallen, trying to play around Vision. Yeah,
trying to bait it in. You can see the charm coming out now, looking for a little bit of extra damage. And without the root getting so much damage onto Rutledge, there's a little bit of extra damage for the execute. And there it is. It's going to be Fallen on the board now, going for that Lichbane rush. Already has the Dark Seal. Very accelerated on this Evelyn. Already 1-1-2.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic from Fallen there. Just great knowledge of the champion in those ranges. Staying outside of Rutledge, sort of predicting well as terms of what Rutledge is going to do to move. And once the opportunity showed itself, was able to dodge out successfully on any sort of CC and very easily clean that one up. Beanloaf going to try and aggress here, but without smite won't really be a huge threat and could potentially be
doesn't have the flash anymore either. Nightclaw going in for the knock-up. See if they can give this one over to Nightclaw. Maybe Fallen flashes forward, going to be able to pick up Beanloaf. And I don't know. What are you doing? Thought maybe had Boat Chicken coming down, but Ethereal Ice had full control over mid. Nightclaw was off the map. Like, that was just not a smart decision.
Yeah, no, I don't know what Beanloaf was thinking. Maybe they thought they'd get smite up soon enough, but even then, like, you gotta respect that the players on the map, even if they aren't, you can't see them, they are still there. Object permanence is a thing, folks. One of the tough lessons.
He's trying to bait him, trying to bait Boat Chicken, keep him in. Does manage to stop the recall.
Boat Chicken, you're stronger than this.
Oh, the public execution! He's gonna take him out and escape with quickness. Beautiful play from Boat Chicken there, recognizing his ranges. And, you know, thought they had the bait going, thought they had a little bit of a good play, but just wasn't respecting it. Now an all-in the bot side. KMZ, though, with a really nice Monsoon to knock it back. Florigato gets knocked as well. The barrier on the Melee Vein. Nightclaw getting run down. Has to be very careful. Florigato has a lot of damage in. The return knockup. Trying to get some down. Ethereal Ice tries to pull them in, but Florigato flashes forward. Needs a little bit more damage. It's going to be a double kill now. Now, finally, Lizzo Mukbang with the TP. Trying to pick up KMZ. Ethereal Ice flashing over the wall. Needs one more spell. Needs to be able to pick up Florigato. Needs to get something.
Oh, the barrier.
The barrier. Florgato's still alive, and KMZ running around will eventually go down. We'll see.
Give it a
Lizzo
call.
gonna try
Lizzo,
and
you
hit it. No,
fool.
Lizzo, come on, man.
Like, I know you want to
I
destroy
get it. You want to be
KMZ.
on the board, but like, giving Fallen that kill would have been insane.
No, that was personal, actually.
Personal.
But
Also,
you all know that
I'll
was
note,
personal.
Spartans did pick up the feat of warfare already, which means unfortunately this will not be feats given over to the Spuds just yet. However, this will be the objective feats picked up for the Spuds, getting all 6 of Void Grubs and the Ocean Dragon. What it's gonna come down now is first tower. And right now, Spuds have big control over that. 2 plates down in the mid lane, couple plates in the top side, 4 plates down in bot lane. So at any point, if one of those towers gets knocked down, it's going to be the feats completed for the Spuds.
Yeah, and there are some towers that are looking a little low, especially up here on the top side. Boat Chicken been making good mincemeat of that top side tower, and with the 6 Grubbins, if Lizzo is forced back or has to leave lane for whatever reason, I think Boat Chicken can very easily just take that out and get those feats for the side of the Spuds. But that remains to be seen, or maybe Florigata will just pick it up right here, actually. That's even easier, especially with that Triforce. It is a matter of just some auto attacks, as KMZ will get the last hit on the turret. Pick that one up for the side of the Spuds, and with that first turret, that is the feats of strength going over to the side of the Spuds in this game. Not game determinative, of course, but definitely a huge thing to get, especially because your AD carry is looking pretty good this game. Rutledge obviously could be doing better in terms of kills, but has a lot of gold, and Fallen just walks up and down smashes that with Smite, but does not. We'll have Smite soon for the Strike, because there is a second charge available. We'll see if they try to fight it.
Doesn't look like it. Looks like they're just gonna be giving that one over.
Ooh,
And,
gets tagged.
Yeah, and with tower down, its feats completed for the Spuds as well. Despite not having any upgraded boots yet, everyone decided that they were just gonna go right into those 1-item spikes, and all 5 members of the Spuds now have their full 1-item spike down. They're absolutely massive in this game right now. Now it's Fallen, possibly looking back topside once again, we'll have to see.
Well, in the mid lane, a
We
beam
just
loaf
pan
looks like,
back to a dead Hwei?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, burn flash, burned ulti, total lockdown onto the Hwei without flash. It is an easy peasy kill to pick up. I know from experience. So yeah, Ethereal Ice, I guess, just not respecting the range of engage from the Beanloaf and gets punished as a result. Fallen, maybe looking to try and flip something here, but that's a lot of damage.
Let's see if they get out. Big Q from Florigato, jump in there from melee evade, and a jump out. Nice Monsoon from KMZ to keep the rest of the team alive. Nightclaw forced back up, though, just a little bit too low. Fallen disappearing back into the jungle. It's going to be Spuds picking up the mid lane tower as well, just rotating themselves around the map, getting objective after objective after objective.
Yeah, and this is absolutely what you want to do when you've got the Grubbins, is just start taking those outer turrets, get the map pressure in your favor. Because especially against the Evelynn here, once they start taking over the map, it's a lot harder for her to play her game, because now you can start controlling more angles. You have more control over just vision in general. You're less likely to get jumped by an Evelynn when you have more ability to control where she goes. Lizzo, on the other hand, is going to be going nowhere right here. We'll just die eventually.
No, the public execution, though, not able to hit it.
Never
Big
mind.
kill, though, from Lizzo. Okay, needs a little bit more. Gonna get the shield.
Yeah,
Eventually,
skill
the
the
tower
turret.
will go down, though. And
Yeah.
that's gonna be a dead bear. Took
Yep.
a while. A little bit sloppy, but, you know, we got there in the end. They got there in the end.
Yeah, Boat Chicken 300, Lizzo Mukbang 133, clip it and ship it. Boat Chicken is better than Lizzo. Once again, please ignore any future misplays that Boat Chicken might have. Thank you. Overall, yeah, the Spuds again get another tower now. Have the full sweep on the outer turrets here, as Nightclaw will just get burned to shreds by Florigato and Rutledge. Walking out to get vision, get absolutely punished as a result. The support nightmare scenario when you have no options and the only thing you can do is just throw yourself to try and get vision is maybe fallen over.
Nice ult out of there though, and a big fear for Materialize. They might just be able to get out. Gonna need the extra movement speed. They don't have any ultimates, don't have the public execution. Have to
Rutledge.
be careful. Rutledge over the wall. Are they going to be able to get out? Not going to be able to land this slow. Materialize trying to find it. The Spiraling Despair goes wide, looking for some extra damage, but it's going to be Rutledge picking up the kill now. Flash forward, KMZ lands the slow. Fallen now, finally forced to flash out, but a knock up under tower. Going to bring Real Beamloaf right back in. The last tower shot, it's going to be enough to take him out, but unfortunately, it's going to be Rutledge shutting down Fallen to pick up the double kill.
Yeah, that was great movement from Nightclaw there to lock down Beamloaf under tower, sort of punish that over-aggression. But Rutledge just decides to click the big laser and burn down Fallen, who had to choose whether or not to get that kill or, you know, take the damage. Decided to opt into getting that kill, but that is a huge shutdown going over to Rutledge, who now has converted their CS lead into a kill lead over on Ethereal Ice, and the canyon in the mid lane here is once again forming. Nearly 3,000 gold in favor of Rutledge, as Lizzo is not looking so great.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard, you know, at this point, you know, you keep trying to find, you know, a little bit of reasoning, but like,
Come on. How dare you make the right choice? Give Boat Chicken the kills.
It's just
for the
rough.
team.
You know, Spartans just keep going just a little bit too far forward, just overextending a little bit too much, and not respecting just how much engage the Spuds have, right? Which is what we talked about. They have a lot of long-range poke, but the public execution, right? The Maokai ultimate, just the rotations from the Janna movement speed, they just have so many ways in if you're not playing with your peel, right? You need to have your Quay there if you want the peel. You need to have your Alistar. You need to have ways to back it off. Otherwise, you're way too vulnerable.
Yeah, and I think these vulnerabilities are being exploited very easily, especially because there is a ton of shred and burst and percent health true damage that even with resistances and HP, the carries of Rutledge and Florigato are still able to just get their damage out. So it's a lot harder to kind of itemize against these champions, and it's very easy to get exploited, because if you get locked down by the Maokai, your life disappears. You are no longer playing the game. You might as well, you get to watch a gray screen and boot up around a Balatro. Maybe you can get past the first ante if you get a good set of cards. But, you know, it's a little unfortunate for the Spartans here, because, you know, they clearly have the ability to make things happen, but it's just not converting, as KMZ's gonna get caught, but exhaust.
Like now, KMZ, nice Monsoon though, goes back to Florigato, Fallen taking so much damage, has to be careful. Melee Bane over the wall, gonna get the reset on the W with the auto. It's falling back over the wall, but he's going right into the waiting arms of Boat Chicken. No, public execution right over there, the Melee Bane, trying to use the Buster Shot, get the knockback, but it's not gonna be enough. Florigato picks up another one. Boat Chicken going forward once more. Florigato looking for Nightclaw now. Does have the flash and trying to get over the wall. Decides not to use it. Wants to save it, I guess. Realizes that it's probably just better to die at this point and save it to try and make a better play. But it's going to be Florigato going absolutely crazy in this game. 6-1 and 4 now on the Corki, just doing so much damage. And they are one dragon off of a soul, not even 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah,
5 towers down. I just realized that there is 5 towers down for Spuds.
Yeah.
And they're knocking on more.
Yeah, the Grubbins are absolutely...
How is it Voracious Otacon?
Yeah, we've not... we were joking about, oh, we're not seeing Voracious Otacon, but yeah, no, we're not getting Ravenous.
I feel like this game has been bloody enough, though.
It needs to be
like,
30. I think it's 30.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
It's either 25 or 30. But, yeah, no, we're getting another Voracious Otacon here, which is absolutely what you want to see if you are the Spuds, because you can then just keep aggressing on the
Lizzo.
opponent. And Lizzo's thinking about next season, I think.
Also, they're just showing up. Everyone shows up top. This is a free Otacon. Are they gonna go for it, or are they just? No, I guess not. Beanloaf is gonna take out Fallen, but it's gonna go down for his troubles. I'm a little confused. Florigato has a full 2 items. They have the double burn items. I'm kind of shocked they didn't just run the Otacon there.
Wait, I think this
Are you saying
inhib is
towers?
just dead. We're gonna get this inhib turret for sure. We're not gonna get the inhib. We're gonna get this inhib turret. Vel'Koz,
That's a lot of gold, though.
Yeah, that's a huge burst of gold here. And KMZ gonna be a little bit of a taxi for Rutledge to get out of dodge here once the rest of the enemies show up. Good tornado, but the flash is gonna come in.
A little bit nice flash from Rutledge to dodge out on the answer from Nightclaw. Now 1:50 on the drag. Getting the flash on Rutledge is a pretty big deal, but not having flash on Alistar or on your way either. They both flash to try and make that play happen. They're not going to be able to get it. With this much of an advantage, going into Infernal Soul pre-25 minutes, the Otacon right there after the fight, Spartans really need to make something big happen at this dragon fight if they want a chance at this game. Otherwise, I think Spuds are just going to run away with it.
Yeah, and a lot of it is going to be down on what Fallen can do and what angle he can find. But the big problem is that Fallen, these items that Evelyn needs are all really expensive. And even with the kills and assists and farm being pretty decent, it's still not there yet. I'm curious as to how much gold the Evelyn has in pocket. If
they don't know what's happening.
Yeah, that's still.
They're just gonna rush this. They're gonna rush the Otacon before the Infernal Dragon. Have all of those withdraws with 2 TPs online.
Yeah, and the worst part is there's.
Yeah, it might be over. I don't know.
There wasn't even a trade. It's like the Spartans have just checked out mentally here.
They're trading top tower. They're trading bounty on top tower. But like, at this point, yeah, it's probably all you can get, honestly. But that's just sad. That is a very sad state to be in, where that's your answer to Varish's Otacon when Soul is spawning and you're not 25 minutes into the game. Beautiful public execution right onto Melee Vein. The barrier gets popped. Nice night black from Nightclaw. Has to be careful. Real Beanloaf going in. Lands the root down. Lands the knockup. And there's so much damage onto the play. Fallen now flashing forward, but he's not going to be able to get the charm. Finally going to be able to do it, but just a little bit too late. The laser from Rutledge leads to the double kill. The inhib's down. They don't want the soul. They don't want anything. They want to end the game right here. Nightclaw goes in, tries to land the knockup. Melee Vein trying to punt out the damage, trying to clear these waves, trying to get anything down. And it looks like they might be able to. The wave is just not quite big enough. Boat chicken,
just flip it.
Looking for some damage. Are they gonna flip it? We'll see. Florigato landing a big damage. Gets 1 tower down. 2 towers down. The Nexus is exposed. Florigato jumping in. Melee Vein so low. Trying to return onto someone, onto anyone, but a knockup. Double knockup from KMZ. Florigato picks up a double. Make it a triple. Looking for the Nexus. Ethereal Eyes, the last one left. Standing between them and the gates. Fallen, trying to find something, trying to find the withdraws, but it's gonna be 5 reses up, a dead Nexus pre-25 minutes, and the Spuds after last game say, man, you wanted an early bedtime, sorry we had to make you wait, but it's all over now.
The goat chicken has blessed us. The $800,000 man delivers there with that closing tornado. And a huge lockdown onto the side of the Spartans, just closing that game out. I think, this is the Spuds we saw in game 1. This is the dominant Spuds, except this time rather than, rather than having a little bit of a happy game towards the last 5 to 10 minutes, they decided to actually play the game of League of Legends and close it out. And it was absolute destruction for the side in favor of the Spuds. Florigato went crazy. KMZ did fantastic on the Janna, enabled so much around the map. Boat Chicken, better than Lizzo Mukbang. Clip it and ship it, folks. to end the season. We don't need to play any more games. It's confirmed, real, and good. And yeah, just the team as a whole, I think, delivered what we saw in Game 1. Game 2 obviously was a bit of a rough patch for getting things done, but actually playing the team, playing the game of League of Legends, the Spuds were able to deliver here with a very decisive pre-25-minute-er.
Yeah, thank you, Spuds. I was starting to get tired. I was getting a little bit worried, and they just come out, boat chicken, hits us with the perfect game. 4-0-5, has not died once. Totally gapped on the Mbessa, takes the ego and makes it work for him. Not to mention amazing plays all around. Love to see it. Beanloaf Rutledge doing so well. KMZ with some of the nastiest tornadoes and monsoons I've seen in a long time. Florigata doing so much damage. Really just feeling like the well-oiled machine that we expect to see out of Spud's team.
Yeah, well, that'll close out, I think, this first week of games, at least here.
I can't say it was boring.
Yeah, no, they made it interesting for sure. A couple more results coming in here. The Kittens did win over the Falcons, as we kind of predicted, but it was a 2-1. Falcons did take a game, which I think is more than anyone expected. And yeah, I think that's the last result we were really looking for. I think yeah, Shrooms and Imperials are still playing somehow. What is going on in that series? I'm kind of interested, but you know, we'll see what happens. Next week, we're going to be hopefully up in the Sapphire division to see what our teams up there have cooking. For the time being, though, it was a great show. Very entertaining games. Any closing thoughts, closing remarks?
I don't believe so. Just some great games. Love to see it. Congratulations, Spuds, to a 2-1 victory. You know, if the rest of the season looks like this, I'm going to be excited for it. I think Fearless has already proven itself to be very entertaining. I think we're going to see a lot more to come. And yeah, I'm very excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and if you want more excitement, of course, there's one thing you should do, and that is to download Rise of Kingdoms,
Okay.
folks. Rise of Kingdoms
Use
for free
ROK,
on
what is it?
PC and reach the goals to support the stream. Use code PLAYROK for PC
Okay.
to get in-game rewards. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. I have been Becky Rita. Joining me, of course, when it rains. We're back for the full season here, unless something terrible happens. And we will see you all next week for more Draft League action.
Have a good night.